All right. We are live. Welcome to the Iron Lords podcast, episode number 28. And it's another glorious Sunday, and we are back at the round table on the Lord's Day. I'm very excited about our special guest, so we're going to get right into it. I want to introduce a Lord who I consider a young phenom based on his fast and meteoric rise in these YouTube gaming streets. He always provides high quality content in a clear, concise, and balanced manner, yet is never afraid to ruffle a few feathers with his brutal honesty. Falsely accused as a traitor to a specific platform, this Lord continues to shine with the support from real gamers, his great indie reviews, and his undeniable passion for video games. Introducing Mr. Soft Serve himself, the host of the Xbox 2 podcast, one of the top 5 dead or alive content creators already, and the man with the million sitting on the achievement Iron Throne, my man, Lord Rand al Thor. How are we doing, sir?
That has to be the best intro I've ever heard for myself. Lord Rand, wow, that's amazing.
Thanks
for having me on. You know what? I know it's the Lord's Day, but it's also my day because today's my birthday.
Oh, happy
birthday!
Birthday! Let's bend the knee. Bend the knee.
There we go.
Everyone's bending the knee, Lord. Yeah, man. We got to show you respect, man. We love what you're doing out here. And when you're at the round table, we consider you a Lord at what you do. So when you're in the realm of the Lords, we have to show that proper respect. So it's a pleasure to have you.
Well, it's a pleasure to be on. I've always wanted to come on your guys' show because I think you guys have had like Tim Dog on,
Yes.
Yeah.
and a couple other people. I like how you like you said, everybody's a lord in their domain, and I find that to be incredibly cool.
Thank you, much appreciated. And of course, we have the usual suspects at the round table. My co-host with the co-most, my brother from another mother, and the howl of the young wolf, my man, Lord Addict. How are we doing, sir?
I'm still getting used to that How the Young Wolf fiasco stuff. Yeah, definitely getting used to that.
Reference. Remember the Young Wolf?
Yeah, I know the sword that does the uppercut.
Come
yeah, I know all about
I
it.
thought about that for you, baby. How's it going?
Pretty good, man. They're doing. Can't complain. Tired, but that's every Sunday. So.
I hear you, man. I hear you. We get you on that good schedule soon. Football season's coming. And of course, our most technical gaming Lord, the solo gamer who lives for the single player experience, semi-offline PS4 Pro Illuminati, my man, Lord Sovereign. How are we doing, sir?
Fantastic, doing great. Dragging my feet a little bit. It was a long night last night, but it's good thing. Good stuff.
And I know why. The next Lord coming up will explain. And of course, the excess gamer.
Ooh.
The Lord who is a man of his convictions and demands nothing less than the premium experience.
Ooh.
Saw those boxing picks, by the way. Beloved Lord King, how are we doing, sir?
We are doing fantastic. This Sunday is blood in everyone's snow. Mikey Barra, wipe your nose, baby. It was a great night in combat sports. You had the regular edition for those people that, couldn't do the premium. They had the Kodo Kobayashi. That was fantastic. You even had the free fights on Fox. I hope y'all got it all in. But if you wanted that premium taste, that $100 experience, that Mayweather McGregor, it lived up to everything I thought it would live up to. It was fantastic. Again, you saw a master boxer in his element doing the things that he does. We have laid to rest the superiority. And hopefully we can stop this talk that boxing dead.
Don't get Lord Addict started. But
it was a fantastic night, and for all those that indulge in that premium experience, much love goes out to you guys.
Absolutely.
I'm too tired to deal with him right now, so we can just move on.
Let's move on. We know this is Lord King's day. He's waited a long time. Him and Mikey Barr went at it. This is his day to shine.
I'll let him breathe.
combat sports. It was a great night.
UFC had something yesterday. Ooh.
Shots fired, oh my lord. And of course, it is Lord Cognito here, spreading that gaming realness on the ILP. Not telling you what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. So before we get into what the Lords are playing, we want to first start off with Lord Rand, his video game history, what inspired the Xbox 2, but more importantly, also that quest for the million. I want to know about that game score stuff. So let's start with your video game history. What was the first systems you started? We know you're kind of an Xbox guy, but was Xbox the first video game console that you owned?
No. I mean, I'm assuming most people that are my age, probably his first system was the NES. At least in the memory banks, right? Like I owned an Atari and a ColecoVision, but I don't have any actual memories of those. You know,
hold on, Lord Rand, you talking very OG talk.
I am. I just don't have any memories of playing the Atari or the ColecoVision.
Yeah, I can't remember what that shit looked like.
I had them, but my first memory was I live in Chicago, right? Chicago, Illinois.
Shout out.
We had a family cottage. We would go to every year in Wisconsin. One summer we went there, and one of my best friends who lived in Wisconsin, I walked into his room, and he was playing the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, and that game was Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. And I was transfixed, and I needed it. And then I got it. I got the NES for my birthday with the triple pack, Duck Hunt, Mario, Track and Field, and Punch-Out.
Nice.
And so, I mean, it was essentially Punch-Out, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, that started my video game love. Like, that was the first game I saw on the NES, and I love that game.
Nice. That's a great start. So then from the NES, what did you transition to after that?
I was a Sega kid afterwards. I was a Genesis kid.
See, I knew Lord Rand. See, I knew me and you had something going. Because I'm a Sega kid too, so I respect that. So now, were you Genesis era? Were you Master System? What era?
I was Genesis era. I had a Sega CD, so I played the classics like Night Trap and Sewer Shark and stuff like that. I had the 32X. I had like 100 Genesis games. I was a big Joe Montana football fan. Me and my brother played the Terminator video game. If you remember that, like,
he sounds like a Channel 5 alum.
You're like, now you're getting into Channel 5 alum. Yeah, like this is deep stuff, right?
But I do have a question though. But there's the fanboy in the comment section. Anchorman wants to know how old you are.
Me, I am. Well, since today's my birthday, I am officially 36.
Man, Lord Rand, happy birthday, man. Happy born day.
Happy born day.
What's up, man?
Yes, sir.
That is going crazy right now. Nice. A lot of people say they got to catch up to your career gamer score and that stuff, man. This is good. So,
man, if my gamer score included like every console from every gen, you wouldn't be able to. Because like I had 150 Nintendo NES games. I had over 100 Genesis games. That's just me. Like, I love playing as many games as I possibly can. And of course, when that translates to gamer score, because you get more gamer score by more games you play, that's always been me, even as a little kid. I wasn't cool with just playing one game. Like, I had to play all the games.
Nice. I hear you, man. So then, after that, I mean, when did you start your first? I'm assuming you got the original OG Xbox, correct?
Yeah, but at the very end. So after Genesis, I became a PlayStation fan. I became a PlayStation fanboy. Ooh. Oh my God, I was so heavy in the PlayStation. I thought Sony could do no wrong. I thought Sony could do no wrong. I got the PlayStation 1. I got the PlayStation 2. PlayStation 2 is still one of my favorite consoles ever. And then I actually didn't like Xbox. I thought I didn't want them in gaming originally because I was like, they're not PlayStation. Get out of here. I didn't get an Xbox. I didn't get an OG Xbox until Halo 2 came out.
Cool.
I fell in for the hype. I picked up an OG Xbox, got Halo 1, thought it was extremely overrated. I didn't understand what the hype was about. Got KOTOR, which is one of the best games ever.
15 years too early.
Yeah. And then Halo 2 I fell in love with, dude. Like, Halo 2 was my first taste of online gaming.
Yes.
And I played Halo 2 every single day for like 13 hours a day for an entire year.
Remember how amazed we are with like when you heard proximity chat?
Yes.
Like for the first time playing like a Halo 2 or whatever. I was just amazed by stuff like that. Just being online with your friends and stuff. Those are memories, man. That was a great game, man. Like, oh man, absolutely. Cool. So then that transitioned to 360, I'm assuming. And
yeah, I got a 360, but I got a 360 because I wanted to play Halo 2 upscaled. And then yeah, I mean, I had a GameCube as well. I had all three systems in that gen, and then I only owned a 360 for the entirety of that gen. Well, I had a Wii because everybody else had a Wii, but it wasn't really mine.
Nice.
And then then the Xbox One, PS4. But yeah,
he sounds like a premium gamer. That's what he sounds
This is very premium.
That's premium talk we talk.
Lord King appreciates that.
But I will say though, my gaming shame is I've never owned an SNES and I've never played a single SNES game.
Don't feel bad.
What?
Don't feel bad, Rand. Oh, now, as far as not playing an SNES game though, that part I'm a little surprised. But you never played an SNES game?
No, because like I was a Genesis kid.
Right. They were the enemy.
My 25-year-old self has played SNES games.
I never got. I was always going forward. So like, I've only owned Nintendo products. I've owned a Nintendo and the NES and a GameCube. Like,
so you skipped out on the SNES? I'm very confused by that.
The SNES, the 64.
That's strange. No Wii U,
I played the 64. Like, we would go over to my buddy's house and we would play WCW versus NWO. Stuff like that.
Let's go. The best wrestling games ever.
Yes, I just didn't own one myself. You know.
Let me ask you a question. What made you buy the GameCube?
I was $99 and came with Metroid Prime, and I'm like, oh, let's do it.
I mean, that can do it, man.
Metroid Prime was amazing.
Yes.
What got me was Luigi's Mansion. I don't know why, but I wanted to play that game.
Yo, that game was so good, right? I really love that game. That's like one of my favorite games.
I wish they would make a true sequel, not what they try to do.
What, do you talk about the one on the 3DS?
I don't talk about the one on the 3DS.
Cool.
So, that thing doesn't exist, kind of like the Death Note movie don't exist to me.
Oh man,
I saw that rant.
So now that we got you up to speed as far as your consoles, Rand. Now, when did this whole quest to become the man with the million? When did that start? How did it start?
I mean, I fell in love with achievements probably right away, right? When I played Call of Duty 2. And that the achievement unlocked, and I'm like, what is this? And I played the game on Veteran to beat it, to get all the points, which I never would have done. Like, I always had played games just on the normal setting or whatever the default setting was. So I went out of my way to play it on Veteran, and then I started just seeking out games to play, like games I wouldn't play. Games no man should play, like My Horse and Me Too,
1,000 achievement scores.
Yeah, I was playing games that you shouldn't play to get those points.
Shout out to Lord Smooth was talking about picking up that Barbie game to get that achievement sword.
Listen,
we're gonna talk about this in a minute.
Lord Rand,
don't want this life.
Let me tell you, I got some shame here.
We know
me and Lord Ha. Oh, you could be quiet. Me and Lord Ha would rent games just to put up gamer score, and we were going at each other, renting the most whatever games we could possibly get, just to outdo each other that night. And we will talk crap back and forth. But then when I saw what your gamer score was, I actually just fell out of the race.
Oh, that's a moment. Look at Lord Rand score. You've been the
that's it. I can't do this.
Actually, I know another person that's in the million.
Really? Okay, cool. So then you can continue with the million. So you got kind of addicted. You started that whole process, and then it just kept going. It just stockpiled.
It kept on going, but then cheating happened. Then people started cheating to get high in the leaderboards, and it was so rampant. There was websites where you could download people's saves and get all the achievements in like 10 seconds. There was the second profile glitching. And me and my friend Stallion83, who's currently #1 in Gamerscore, we kind of like, that's how we met, was through our distaste of people cheating the system. And we became friends, and we played like all the games together back in the day. I didn't think anything would really come of it because I didn't think Microsoft would bother doing anything about it. But then they did. They took action. They reset people. They said you shouldn't do that. And by resetting people, my position on the leaderboard kept on going up and up and up and up, to the point where eventually down the road I was like, hey, like I could be top 5, which is the only ever goal I really wanted. Like I didn't care about being #1. I just thought, like, wouldn't it be cool to be top 5, at some point? And
absolutely,
I kept on grinding. I passed up a bunch of people to finally get into the top 5. And even though I didn't hit 1 million in the top 5 because I had to wait, Phil mentioned doing the million at E3, but it was like December, so I had to wait like 6 months. So I had to wait in the process of waiting for the moment. I got passed up by 2 people that were behind me.
Gotcha.
But hey, I'll take E3.
Exactly.
Jessica Chobot over number 5.
The perks that come with that. Nice, man. That's cool. And you know what? It's just real cool. I felt that Xbox recognized you, as far as that level of dedication and stuff like that. So that's really cool, man. And that definitely.
Yeah, Xbox has always been cool with promoting like community members and things like that in a way that Sony doesn't bother with,
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that too. I was going to ask you, how do you feel now that initially you was against them, but now they support you well? That's a beautiful story.
Well, the reason I didn't get a PS3 was because, and even though I was waiting, I'm like, oh, let's see what Sony's doing with the PS3. Sony was like, oh, well, our fans will buy anything. That our fans would buy, if the system was just a brick and came with no games, our fans would buy it. And I'm like, you call me dumb? And then they're like, you got to get a second job to afford $600.
$600.
I'm done. Like, so I'll wait. Like I'm not spending $600. I'm not like, I don't like this arrogant Sony who is talking down about their consumers, and I'm like, I'm out of here. I almost had the same problem with Xbox though around 2012, 2013 though, when they were kind of like walking that same, oh, we got a product for you, it's a 360.
We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that with bowl results. That's cool, man. And last question, real quick. Now I know you are good friends with our friend Lord Jez Gordon and the Xbox 2 podcast. So before I actually ask you about that, I wanted to pour out a little, let everyone get their ale out for TXR podcast, which you are a member of, and I was a huge fan of that. But what then started the Xbox 2? Like what was the
So what started Xbox 2 was me and Jez would, we would DM quite a bit. And then sometimes we would have these long conversations on Skype, like hours worth, right? And then we were just talking one day, and it was just like, man, nobody would hear these great gaming conversations we would have. And he was like, we should kind of start a podcast. And I'm like, yeah, we should. And that's where it started from. We were like, let's just take these Skype, conversations that we have and just put it on YouTube, and that's how the Xbox 2 started.
Nice. Yeah, you guys dropped some great gems in there. Cool insider information. I was in my feelings when you guys shot down me and Lord Addict's August Scorpio rumor, but we had to hold it. We had to get over it.
I remember when Addict was like, I started that rumor. I was the one who said that. Someone else also said he started it, but
Lords were the first.
We won't go into that conversation.
It's all good. It's all good. But we appreciate what you do, man, and that's really cool. Yeah, man. So we are going to move on to what the Lords have been playing this week. So let's start with Lord Addict. What have you been playing this week?
I've been playing Escapist. As much as I hate to say this, making myself finish Sunset Overdrive. And that's pretty much all. I got to finish Sunset Overdrive this week because Mario Rabbids comes out Tuesday. So does the Record Definitive Edition. Yes, I'm going to replay it.
Mm-hmm. Nice. And Lord Sav, what have you been touching this week?
I've been playing a little bit of Uncharted Lost Legacy. Going to try to finish that up this coming week, and been playing more Sonic Mania, trying to get through that. So that's pretty much all I've been playing.
Lord King, what have you been touching this week?
To Lord Addict's delight, I've been playing Halo Wars 2.
Wow.
And I must say, I love the game, the first one. There's a lot of dramatic changes that they put towards the game, and it enhances the game and makes it a fresh new game. I really like the direction that they went in with it, and I have to say, I got to give it hands down to Lord Act. Thank you so much for telling me to get all the premium content with it, because honestly, seriously, I would have purchased it little by little, and it would have added up to like 3 times the price of the game.
$5 individual, or you can just buy them 30 for all of it.
Yeah. I'm not ready for you yet as far as challenging you. I understand that you're well versed in these worlds.
You won't be ready. You think you'll always be ready.
But you said that with Naruto, and I was spanking you like a wild baby.
God, here we go.
I still beat you.
Yeah, you did. By the skin of your teeth. You Conor McGregor did. You had early rounds, and then I had to Mayweather you.
I'm gonna pass the fear at you, man. It don't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning.
This is true, but also I played the Madden.
Nice.
I'm gonna get into that later. But yeah, that's what I gave Attic his respect and played that game. So
nice. Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, for me, Lord Magneto's this is still hashtag kill the backlog. As you know, I'm a huge Destiny fan, and when September comes, all the backlog is gonna stop, and Destiny will take my soul once again. But being that we're on this subject of kill the backlog, it's come to my attention through some sources of mine that obviously I'm trying to go for the achievement, Lord Rand. I'm trying to go to win my first achievement month, right?
Okay. And by the way, he's ahead of you.
It's not been a good month. It's not been a good month for me.
I'm not even trying to challenge the Iron Throne. All I want is August.
He's just wanting a taste.
I just want a taste of how it feels, to have the throne for a month, and then be done with it. But it's come to my attention through some sources that a good friend of the podcast, Lord Megatron, has been sneakily creeping up on my score in these last 4 remaining days. So I thought we were cool on Megatron, but now I have to get into action against you. We got 4 days, and I got about a 600 gamer score lead. So may the best man win, but now I have to implement tactics. Even at that. But that's pretty much it. So we're gonna get into real quick before we get into these topics. We'll get into what the poll. So Lord ran last week. We had a big poll, and the poll results are in. The people have spoken to the Xbox regime and leadership question. Whose model and vision for Xbox do we prefer the most? The choices were A, the calm, long-term vision and services approach of Phil Spencer. B, the aggressive for exclusives, E3 tattoos, and high-budget spending of Peter Moore. Or C, the big budget marketing for games, TV, and media approach of the Don.
You can just get rid of that one right there.
It's funny
you should also include also destroy Xbox.
You know what's so funny, Laura, is that Seamus Blackley commented on this poll, and he says in capital letters, "Poor Don," when he saw the result. So the winner at 52% strong in one of the most controversial ILP polls ever, the chat was lit, is Xbox only begotten son, our Lord and Savior, Phil Spencer. It was close, y'all. It was close because Peter Moore finished at second at raised. It was 45%. A lot of the 360 era guys were hitting this poll. I mean, people were getting into arguments on the ILP Twitter with each other about Peter Moore versus Phil. It was hot and heavy. And finishing third place with a whopping 4%. Let's get
It's nice to see. I mean, I'm just disappointed in the 4%, man.
Yeah, who name and shame. Who voted for Don Matrick? Name and
I think I'm gonna call out. I'm gonna call out Kiss because I think he's the only Don Matrick fan. I think that
really. No, Kid Smooth's
I
not
love him, but I don't know if he actually voted. But I know we've had Kid on the show before, and he's a big Matrick fan. Well, I think we had like a discussion about whose era did he like better, and I know he did say it. So I'm gonna assume one of those votes was Kid. That's just me assuming, though.
I mean, Peter Moore was something special, man. Like that man could sell anything. Like Don Matrick always to me just was like a used car salesman.
Yes.
Got this car, I want this. But like Peter Moore was a consummate professional. I always enjoyed his presentations. And then I think he's more of a showman than Phil is.
Yes. Remember those E3s, Lord Rand? Remember the tattoos? And he was just so aggressive and full of energy. And I do miss him. And this is no disrespect to Phil. You know what I'm saying? Because listen, we all know Phil, what the hand Phil was dealt. And what he's done to transform this thing is remarkable. And I actually think, in Phil's defense, no one's probably had that much adversity at the start of a job, so I gotta give that to Phil. I mean, at first I was in my feelings. I am a Peter Moore guy, but look, the people spoke, man, and Phil's the champ, so we got to give it up to Phil right now. This is his day. Phil, if you're listening,
Phil was dealt a low pair going against a full house.
Absolutely. But to those 4% who voted for Don, remember that's the man who told Xbox One owners to buy a 360 if you want to get online. But anyway, thanks to all 300 plus who participated in the poll. So we're going to get right into these topics. So, Lord Addict, you want to talk about maybe Xbox Fear the List Part 2? What you got for the round table?
Well, there's this list that I know Rand has Lord Rand made a video on this list that's been surfing around, and the list is kind of like bizarre, and I don't know why anyone would believe this thing exists. It has I think it's 6 on both years, isn't it, Rand? 6 both years.
I think it's 8 actually.
Oh God, 8. That's
I'm trying to think because there was the 4 games we know just of for next year was Sea of Thieves, State of Decay, Crackdown, Ori, Forza Horizon 4, Halo, and I think there was another one.
Yeah.
Oh, and Ninja Gate. So there was like 8 for both years.
I'm trying to find a picture of it right now.
I actually have a picture of it.
Here, share the screen.
Share the screen. Actually,
but I mean, when it comes to this list, it's like, look, like I feel like whoever made this list, like they try to go into that. Oh, I'm in a press conference. I'm in a secret top meeting press conference at Gamescom, and somehow no one saw me record this with my phone. So, when it comes down to it, it's like, look, like, people are going to obviously come up with some logical stuff that they want people to think is logical. But at the end of the day, they're just taking advantage of people wanting, news when it comes to exclusive wise. Like, and don't get me wrong.
Not to cut you, look at it. Anchor Man's in the chat. He said, "Is this Fear the List Part 2, Lord King? What's up?"
No, listen, I saw the list, and the reason that first Fear the List came out was because I thought there was a logical step for Sony to do what they was going to do, and they didn't have to do it because Microsoft didn't push their hand, cool hand, Phil there again, and in control, and he keeps these guys in place by playing his hands silently. This list, I don't know, it's plausible. I looked at it, but the one thing that stood out to me as a red flag was Ninja Gaiden. I was like, oh, shut up. Once I saw that, I was like, shut up.
Click on my icon down there. I'm screen sharing.
All right.
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
I got you.
But I mean, it's got Sea of Thieves in March 16th, which I do think some of these release dates could be plausible. Like, maybe not towards the end because, first off, we have no clue what's coming out in October. I don't think it's Ninja Gaiden, that's for sure. I don't think Halo would come out in November. And then, like, when you look down here at the December 6th, 2019 with Dead Rising, like, first off, like, I don't think they would word it like that. okay, I don't think they're going to put 5 in the name like that, but you know that I digress. Just because Dead Rising 4 came out in December does not mean every Dead Rising's come out in December. So that's a fail.
I think they should have learned their lesson from that. Don't ever do that again.
Yeah. Dark Tide is supposed to come out in September the 20th. I have no clue what that is. And then you got your Forza Horizon 7. We know that's right.
Well, those are logical.
Yeah,
right?
so,
I mean, those are every year. So.
Crackdown, State of Decay, Sea of Thieves. I could see those release dates around that time, or he's not coming out next year.
Yeah,
that's for sure. The one thing is like they don't like. It's another thing is like they have like set release dates for games 2 years away.
Yes,
like
that's the giveaway.
And it reads like fan fiction. It's like this would be a perfect list for people being like, "Oh man, they're bringing back Crimson Skies. Oh, Ninja Gaiden title ranges."
Whoever did this just took the MCU template for releasing movies.
That's what I thought it was.
Like the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
It does. This looks exactly how they would make their presentation showing what's coming out next year.
Yeah, I was just like, no.
But I mean,
like Lord Attic said, Ori's 2019.
Right.
My gut feeling, this is what my gut tells me. So this is not any insider information. I think Crackdown gets delayed till holiday next year.
I said that.
God, no.
But let me ask you this question though. If that is the case, can they survive that blow? If you say Holly, you talking November? What do you think?
Yeah, maybe like September, October. Like my kind of thought process is the thing people want to see is a thing they aren't showing to anybody ever. Like the cloud destruction. When have we seen that? We haven't seen it. So it's the thing that they're hanging their hat on that. So unless they have some special event next year to show it off before the game comes out, I think they'll quietly just say they'll need more time. They'll show it off at E3 and then have it like reemerge at E3 and they show off this awesome destruction trailer to get everybody hyped. And then, it comes out in October. I think what you'll get is Sea of Thieves because they already have 2 games scheduled to come out before E3. Sea of Thieves and State of Decay 2. I'm not sure they want to also throw Crackdown in there at the same time because next year's pack, you got Far Cry 5 at the end of February. You got The Crew 2. You have Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, they need to stay far away from that.
Far away from that.
So Microsoft, they need Sea of Thieves has to be a success, and it needs the proper breathing room. It needs the proper release date. State of Decay 2, the June release date seems plausible, just from the fact that I think State of Decay 1 came out in June.
I hope that's not true, though. I'm not going to lie, because if I do decide to go to E3 next year, I'm going to be very upset if I'm at E3 while they're doing this.
State of Decay fan to wait that long would suck.
It's not even that. Like, imagine if, I know you guys are going to E3 next year, but, if I go, I'm going to be heated if I'm at E3 and State of Decay playing. I will. I remember when the first year I went to E3, they were like, Halo Wars 2's betas right now. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Well, if it's play anywhere, it'll work out because you can take your laptop and get busy.
I ain't about that.
I am. I'm about that.
But I mean, Forza Horizon 4. That seems plausible if they make a Forza next year, which they should. I don't know because I know Playback is making another game. I don't know if that's going to affect Forza's development cycle. It shouldn't. But, we've seen a lot of incidents where, Microsoft likes their developers working on one game and one game only. So I don't know how that's going. I'm assuming a Forza is coming out next year. I will say, though, I really, really hope the Ninja Gaiden thing does happen because I feel like that is a really good, diverse title that the Xbox library needs.
Listen,
I don't know that it'll be Ninja Gaiden. Yeah,
I don't know
that it'll be Ninja Gaiden, but just thinking about Team Ninja in general, we haven't seen Neo come over. We haven't heard any talk about it. A Neo Definitive Edition on the X sounds fantastic. I don't know about an October release date, but it's something that we could see come over. I love Ninja Gaiden, but I mean, I think Neo's done great on a PS4. But bringing it over to Xbox, I think it still scratches that itch because it is a faster sort of action game that you'd expect from like a Souls game. It's even faster still than like a Bloodborne. So I think it'd be a perfect fit.
I do have a question though. Out of these games that we know is coming out for a fact, you know, year one, obviously, what games there you think is going to be commercial success?
I think Ori will be. Yeah. Well, then again, Ori's not next year, but Halo. But then again, I don't even know. Here's the other thing. I don't even know if Halo's coming out next year.
I don't know. Halo can't come out next year.
I think it's coming out in 2019.
Yeah, 2019.
I think Halo has to come out next year.
Oh, I would.
Oh, you think it has to?
I think it absolutely.
We need a holiday blockbuster because we ain't had one.
I hear what you're saying. Now, my question is, when was the what's the development cycle? When was Halo 5 now?
So Halo 5 was 20. So numbered Halo games, for the most part, have always had 3-year dev cycles. 2001 for Halo 1, 2004 for Halo 2, 2007 for Halo 3, 2010 for Reach or 2009? No, 2009 for ODST, 2010 for Reach, and then Bungie left. It was 2012 for Halo 4, and then 2015 for Halo 5.
But I do feel like Halo 6 is an exception because they did go back supposedly and redo a lot of how they were going to do Halo 6.
See, I'll take a Reach or ODST in between and wait and let that game come out. Yeah, you know, really done well. They can give you a good backstory. As far as the Reach goes, you know, with Spartan Locke's team, they can give you something like that and give you, you know, a little flushed out origin of their team. You know.
Yeah, but you know, when it comes down to it, like this bottom line. All that's
that's fugazi. That's fugazi. Now let me pass back to the chat right now. When do you think he's talking about Anthem? When do we think Anthem falls into
2019?
Okay, gotcha.
I don't know. They're pretty adamant that's coming out.
Yeah, I think it's next year.
Everyone's adamant everything's coming out in the year they think it's coming out.
Now, your gut, Lord Rand, you think it might hit the 2018?
Anthem?
What your gut saying?
Yeah, my gut says Anthem comes out next year. My gut says Halo comes out next year. Because, like, when you think about it, if Halo doesn't, and that means Halo's 2019, does that mean Gears 5 is 2020?
Yeah,
because they're not going to launch Halo and Gears in the same year.
Yeah.
So it's like, if Halo is 2019, that pushes a lot of their stuff back. Microsoft needs, like, this holiday is bare for exclusives.
As much as I hate to say it, we need a Halo right now.
I know people get like down on Halo, but Halo's still Microsoft's biggest franchise. It's still going to sell millions. I think it needs to come out next holiday, unless they aren't going to be ready and it's 2019 and they slowly move Crackdown 3 to be that holiday game, like I mentioned.
I think that's what's going to happen.
You know why Halo's their biggest franchise? It's how they make that O.
I'm done. No. Yeah, I mean it's gonna be interesting because that would mean, based on what Lauren's saying, you got Halo, Anthem, and Crackdown.
Here's the big thing. Let's theoretically say that they don't show Crackdown until E3, and it looks completely different than we've seen so far. And the multiplayer's shown, it runs flawless, exactly how they've promised it to us. Would that redeem what's been going on with that title? Because I do feel like you delay a game a certain amount of time, it loses hype and people stop caring.
But if the game they finally release is of high quality, it doesn't matter when it comes out, except for November. I don't see it coming out. It doesn't belong there. And to be honest, Halo doesn't belong there anymore either. It just doesn't.
Like Lord Rand said, if they show the destructibility that we are craving and we want to see, and they present it better, I don't care how long it takes, the hype will be deafening, because then you will see it'll be justified. You know, the wait is justified.
Right.
If they show the same thing that they've been showing, then the wait ain't justified and the game won't sell. So just like Lord Rand said, if they show what we're asking for, and I believe so, and I don't believe Halo comes out next year. I believe Crackdown takes that spot. Yeah, I think next year.
See, but I'm with Lord Fast back in the chat. I mean, I know what you guys are saying, and Halo's that hammer, right? Halo comes with the hammer, knocks them out. But if they're marketing Anthem, I don't think it's a good idea to necessarily put both of those out in the same year.
That's what I'm saying. Put Halo 5 day and date to PlayStation 5.
Oh my god.
No, I'm saying I'm gonna unshare you. But shout out to over 50 in the chat, y'all. Please hit that like button.
You said that which game like needs to be a success, right? Like I think the game, looking at that list, that absolutely 100% needs to be an unequivocal success is Sea of Thieves.
Yeah,
it absolutely.
And to be honest with you guys, like I do think the biggest thing hurting that game is that NDA. Like I really think that's hurting it more than it's protecting it. Because you know, like I can't really say a whole lot when it comes to that game, and I enjoy it like thoroughly when I play.
It's one of those things that obviously all of us here in this chat, we've gone to the round table, we've gone to E3, most of the touched or at least played it in some capacity, and from what I've seen, I'm like, this game could be something. And the problem right now is the messaging. In my opinion, no one knows kind of like exactly what you do, but it's one of those things that it's like when you get your hands on it, you're like, okay, you know what I mean? So I think it's going to be one of those things that when it does come out, people will quote unquote get it, but they have to knock it out the park. They can't mess around with it. So I guess I'm not too upset with them with that. I'm all on the side of them taking their time, getting all the components and the aspects right. So this thing releases is a finished product.
I do want to point out a comment. Someone said, Michael said, have Anthem exclusive to Xbox. I don't think that would ever happen, but they do need to go to EA and drop that check and get a similar deal that Sony got with Destiny, because let's be real here. A lot of people don't give Destiny a lot of props when it comes to it's helped the PlayStation a lot.
Oh yeah, big time.
I mean, they've had a bundle every gen. I mean, every year they've had a bundle with Destiny. I wouldn't be surprised if Destiny sold a couple million PlayStation 4s.
I agree with you, Lord Ack. The only problem is based on what we've seen and heard from Phil. And Lord Rand, correct me if I'm wrong, he just doesn't seem to believe in that exclusive content paying deal anymore. Like, he doesn't seem to subscribe to it. What's the vibe you're getting from Phil on those type of exclusive content deals when Microsoft has the marketing?
I mean, he's been on podcasts and like shows where he says he doesn't like want to pay for a skin that other people can't get. Like he's against that stuff. But
that's one of the reasons that Sony's killing them right now.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, but then again, like the Destiny stuff, there may have been zero chance Microsoft could ever get the Destiny.
Oh 2. Yeah,
right.
That's facts.
Like they could have signed multi-contract, like same thing with the Star Wars stuff. Because I heard that's more of a deal with Disney between Disney and Sony than it is Sony and EA. So a lot of these deals are multi-year, like the Call of Duty deal. Like there's nothing Microsoft can do to get any of these deals because they might be multi-game, multi-year type of deals. Yeah. Now we're talking about Anthem. But what if Anthem isn't a marketing deal with Microsoft? You ever think about that?
Talk to me.
What if you're just assuming that it is because Microsoft put it on their stage? From what I was told, the deal only pertained to E3. Microsoft dropped a buttload of cash to debut the game on their stage. Correct. But as of now, from what I understand, there's no marketing deal between Xbox and Anthem.
So pretty much just bait and switch.
So I don't know. I'm just saying, like, there very well could be a possibility. Sony's like, nah, we got this game. Like,
don't say that. Wow. If that's the case, Lord Rand, like this is like when we did the poll, this is what the Peter Moore contingent is saying. Like, they're like, look, why are you not aggressive? These guys are coming at your neck with these exclusive marketing deals, and like, you've got to do something.
I don't even think it would be so bad if they had exclusives dropping at the time either. That's like the icing on the cake. It's like, you've been real lackluster this year when it comes to, exclusive content on your console. But then on top of that, the big blockbusters coming out this year also is in the competition being marketed by them.
Right. This is interesting.
And marketing deals done right can be just as effective as having an exclusive.
I agree to some level. I mean, because the casuals don't generally know.
We even forgot,
Okay,
like Sony has Red Dead Redemption 2 next year lined up. They have Far Cry 5, which is also beginning of next year. Like Sony is throwing around their weight. They are market leader. A lot of these companies are going to want to naturally advertise with Sony, you know, because they're number one. A lot of people only want, like, well, if I'm going to market with someone, I'm marketing with the market leader, right? So Sony gets like the cherry pick. You know, and they didn't really have any big time exclusives this holiday, so they're like, yeah, we know Microsoft's got the X, but we'll lock down Destiny 2, we'll lock down COD, we'll lock down what else they got this holiday? Well, it was Red Dead 2, but Red Dead 2 moved. But so now next
Battlefront
spring, well, they got Battlefront. So, but then like you look at next spring, they're hitting you with Far Cry 5, which is going to be huge. They're hitting you with Red Dead 2, which is huge. Then they're going to hit you with God of War in March.
Kratos is
possibly Spider-Man at some point as well. Like Sony's going to be all over the two.
Days Gone.
Absolutely. You know? Oh yeah, facts. And see, what's breaking my heart, Lord Rand, is that if what you're saying, I really hope what you're saying is not true, but even though there's a very strong chance it could be, that if that Anthem deal was just to show it on the Microsoft stage and there's no marketing, that's a problem. That is a problem.
Oh, how do you not spend money on actual deals and you spend money to get it on your stage for 2 minutes? I don't get that.
Yeah, what does that serve? Like, what purpose does it serve? You're not fooling anyone.
And you know what's sad too? The biggest part, it would have been more of an impact if it wasn't even shown at EA's conference.
Yep. But I digress. We have beaten this to death, but needless to say, Fear the List Part 2 is a bit fake. But
hold up. Cal in the comments section said I spoke with Aaron at EA and I can confirm they have a marketing deal with Microsoft.
Oh, thank you, Lord Cal.
Thank you.
Our Lord and Savior. Thank you for giving us some hope. We would hope that is the case. So I appreciate that, Lord Cal, coming down. TIC's finest, coming down and giving us some info. No. So we're going to move on to the next topic. And Lord Saw, a lot of talk about these enhancements on Xbox One X games, Gamescom and stuff. So what you got to talk to on the roundtable?
Yes, I have a few little things to talk about. Last week, I know we said we were going to come back and talk more about Xbox at Gamescom, and it just never came together. So we'll talk a little bit about that and what came out and people's feelings on what they announced at Gamescom. So honestly, from my perspective, I expected a little bit more. I know Gamescom hasn't traditionally been a show where they show a lot of stuff, but I thought with the delay of Crackdown, we were going to get just a little more info, maybe a few more big surprises. And I actually expected a tried and true conference, which is not what we got. We got this, sit down thing,
Treehouse.
which was kind of, a little treehouse type thing. And it just, I don't know. I wasn't very fond of it because it just felt very sort of rehearsed and not, kind of disingenuous. You had the one guy like hooting and hollering in the back at the end of every trailer, which was in the trailers were regurgitated E3 trailers. So I just didn't think that it didn't come off very well. In terms of stuff they announced, honestly, the most exciting stuff to me was just finally that the X1X pre-orders are going up. The Scorpio edition, obviously, which we had seen beforehand, I thought was interesting. But in terms of actual announcements, it was kind of underwhelming. The Jurassic Park game is cool. The building game, I think if there's a franchise that associates well with that sort of game, it would be that, some sort of SimCity thing. So Jurassic Park, that seems pretty cool. But again, not necessarily for me. The Record Definitive Edition.
You better watch your words.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yo, Lord, how to be stupid.
Well, I bought Record day one. I'm ready for the definitive edition. I'm ready to actually complete the game.
Now you lost me. Now you lost me. You didn't even complete the game. You have no right to talk about it.
Oh, no. I was not finishing that barren wasteland of a game. Wait,
time out. Whoa, wait a second. Time out.
Plenty of barren wasteland.
Time out. You can't be bagging on that game because I really love that game.
That's fine. No, I love aspects of that game. Aspects of that game. Look, I can say whatever I want. I bought it day one, so I can say.
I mean, you can say what you want. Just because you put that money up, don't mean you put the time and beat the game.
Oh, I play time.
I guess you play money. I play games. I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Continue, Lord.
My 500 plus backlog says otherwise. I play games.
Young boy shot.
Bang, bang.
Yes, sir.
Bang.
Not the way you talking.
There's only one premium experience Lord on this podcast. All right, let's just
There we go. Tell them we come in many shapes and sizes.
There we go. So but honestly, I mean, it was just sort of underwhelming, and maybe I expected too much from it. Sea of Thieves, the Sea of Thieves stuff coming, where cross-play with PC and stuff, but we kind of knew that was coming. So to me, the most interesting stuff besides the Xbox One X launch stuff was the fact that they finally got their hands on seeing some X1X Enhanced Games. And here on this podcast, we've been very critical of them, of how they sort of pigeonhole themselves by claiming all this, uncompromised 4K, and how they put themselves in a corner when anytime any game was not hitting those standards, they put themselves in a position to be completely scrutinized and attacked. And what we saw with a lot of these games, there's a list now of over 100 games that are getting X1X enhancements. A lot of these games are going to be able to hit native 4K at 30 frames per second, or whatever, or higher than 30 frames if the game originally had an unlocked frame rate. So it's good to finally get some concrete evidence that what they were talking about was just not completely smoke and mirrors, and we can have more confidence in what the system is capable of. I mean, in terms of the 4K stuff is great, but to be honest, my thing is just that the system be capable, that the system be able to give me a great 1080p experience as well as a 4K experience. Like, to me, that's the primary thing.
Gotcha.
So yeah, like all the enhancements they had with like Tomb Raider, especially Tomb Raider Rise of Tomb Raider, looks absolutely fantastic. So to me, it did a good job of cementing in the minds of people who already may be on the fence about the X, but leaning towards getting it. It gave a real reason to be able to pick it up day one without necessarily a big, exclusive game with Crackdown not being there, and have confidence that the games that are releasing around the launch of the system and the games that they already have in their library are going to look considerably better and run considerably better. So I think it was a nice little boost for their marketing in that regard.
All right, I gotta jump in this thing.
You gotta jump in? Okay, go for it.
All right, first I want to say shout out to the 63 people watching, shout out to the 29 people that liked it, and even shout out to Anchorman and his whatever buddy he had to dislike the video. So,
shout out to the 60 in the chat. Hit that like button, y'all.
Troll it, baby, troll it.
Is there some like rivalry between Iron Lord's podcast and the Multiverse?
No,
hold on. It's friendly.
My boy James is over there. That's the premium Brit. No.
It's just friendly, man.
There's no rivalry between anyone. It's just I'm me. So
continue.
So yeah, when it comes to Gamescom, even I expect a little bit more than what they did. Because let's be real here, at Gamescom, when it comes to caliber, like the highest thing they've ever got, something like Tomb Raider. They have announced stuff like Halo Wars 2 at these events, but for the most part, they don't really announce anything big. You know what I knew that people had too much of high expectations when it came to this conference, this event? When it started and people said, "Oh, when's the conference start? Is this the pre-show?" I was done because I knew.
That's exactly how I felt when I saw it. That's
exactly how I felt.
I'm like, what the hell is this sideshow thing they doing right here?
I was like the moment they said that, I was like, I knew, like, they're not having a conference. Like, really? Like, no one knew this? But
what I hear is Gamescom is more of an event as far as the atmosphere goes, more so than E3. Like, we have to go there. We have to go there because what I'm hearing, from a couple of guys there, I was, tweeting with a couple of guys. They said the place was open and it's open to the public, so it's not as congested as E3 was, and they had more stuff to do, like as far as crowd stuff.
I don't know about congestion because you're talking about 300,000 people going to that. It's completely different.
I hate to interrupt y'all. Lord Jonathan Citron in the chat said, "How would you guys feel if they held back Crackdown 3 just to put the Halo 6 beta code?"
Before we answer that, I do want to say that, Will Sink said, "Well, games called also reveal Fable Legends canceled, Quantum Break didn't perform very well, and Scalebound canceled." So I guess Gamescom has like a really bad vibe to it right now.
Yeah.
I mean, so I'm taking all of these subjects, everything we just talked about, like the kind of quote unquote weak showing at Gamescom, and I'm going to relate that back to my choice in last week's poll, which was Peter Moore. And make no mistake, I love Phil. Phil is fantastic, and I think for the future of Xbox, taking in and focusing on services and making Xbox the platform that he wants to make it in the future. I get it, and I think it's fantastic. But like we just said, Sony is not taking the boot off their neck ever. And and to be honest, they could do that because they're so far in the lead, and they don't. Every chance they get to take the conversation away from Xbox, they do it. And I think that's what I liked about Peter Moore. Peter Moore was that showman. Peter Moore is a marketing guy. First and foremost, he's about the big spectacle.
Perception. He's all about
exactly.
perception.
And he's got that competitive nature, because he even said it when he came from Sega. He was like, "I remember that Sony killed my Dreamcast." You know what I mean? Like, he had that vendetta. Like, again, there's no disrespect to Phil, because Phil, the thing I like about Phil is he's a gamer, right? And we love him for that. We love that he appreciates things, and the services that he provides, for gaming has been great. The preview program, Game Pass, EA Access, all this stuff has been great. It's just like, just from an aggressive, competitive standpoint, sometimes I kind of dislike when he's kind of like, "Hey, we like everyone," and "Hey, I'm gonna play like this."
But I think he has to play this passive role until he gets the upper hand.
Yeah,
if he's playing from if he's playing from the Art of War
game, he's a long-term game.
He's playing the Art of War. He's taking pieces off the board, and he's right now. This November, when the Xbox becomes the most powerful console, I think you're gonna start seeing an aggressive tone from Phil, and it's gonna be an aggressive tone in the sense that you're gonna start seeing those games that he was talking about that's coming, and the way they're gonna be marketed towards the power. Whatever we have an advantage of is going to be pushed.
It's like I said.
This is the thing, though.
It's like
this is the thing, though. If a week before the Xbox One X launches at Paris Games Week, Sony says, "Yeah, in March we're going to talk about the next step in PlayStation hardware." Just says that. Then what? And this is what makes the conversation.
You know what's funny? They said something like that, and then it was like the PlayStation VR 2, and they just did like a fog of mirrors to keep people.
They did it at Gamescom. We talked about this last night on the RGM podcast. Shout out to Lady Bella for having us on there. But we talked about it last night, where they came out and said, "Oh, we have something to announce." It was covered up. It was all hidden. And everybody's like, "Oh, what is it? PlayStation 5, PSVR 2? I mean, the speculation was all across the board. And at the end of the day, it was just a Gran Turismo console. But for a day and a half, you had people speculating.
You had the narrative. You had
the narrative. And then, Xbox isn't willing to do that.
I've said from the start that, my personal opinion, I think people say, "Oh, the X was made for the hardcore." It was made for the hardcore, but I think secretly it was made to get rid of that power,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Narrative. And people are like, "Oh, they're not getting rid of the power narrative for the X. They're getting rid of it to free the S from the PS4, because when the X is the strongest console, they can't promote the PS4 as the strongest console anymore. And that's what's going to sell the most. So they're trying to push more S's. So, the X is like that that person, like the bigger brother that comes in between the younger brother with the bully. They're like, no, you ain't coming up in here like that. So, you know, they're trying to push more S's because it's hard to promote the second strongest console over the third strongest console. So, you know, they took that narrative completely off the table.
I see. Lord Rand, we got to get you in there. You've been quiet. I need your opinion on these. First, the Xbox One X enhanced game situation, and then also the Gamescom showing. Yeah, I know you had like a video about that as well.
Well, yeah. So the Xbox One enhanced game stuff is what I've been waiting to see, how well they'll perform. And I feel I feel Digital Foundry is doing a better job marketing Xbox One X than Microsoft is.
I agree.
I theorized in my video, it's because Microsoft doesn't want to do any direct comparisons right now. Maybe because any comparison between the X and the S will automatically make the S look like a terrible system, and it's still a system that they have to sell to people. So
Correct.
You are intentionally, like, even though, yeah, you're propping up the X by saying, look how much better it is, you're also damaging the other system that you have because you're saying this new system is fire. Look at this, but then at the same time, just by the comparison, you're saying, look how crap our other system is.
It's like this system. You know,
We
like
have a
this
system for you. It's called
like
the
this-
Xbox One S.
It's like this system is fire, and it's like the S is on fire. And like, no,
Yeah.
we don't care about that one. This one's fire.
Yeah, cannibalize the market. Yeah.
So I think they're trying to find a good balance there, right? Because they don't want to bury the S beneath the power of the X. So I'm excited. Like, I watched the Digital Foundry vid. Like, you could tell Richard and them were really impressed by what they saw with the system.
Yeah.
And that comes
Absolutely.
through, and it makes someone like me who doesn't know much about tech and stuff like that, that makes me even more excited for the system, you know, and I want to see more, like, about, you know, other games. Like, yeah, Tomb Raider, great, like, but that's a 2-year-old game, right? It's a game from 2015. Who really cares? I want to know about a game that came out this year. I want to know about the games that are coming out this year, and then what it'll do for my future games. You know, like, that's what I want. And as far as Gamescom goes, that presentation wouldn't have existed if they didn't need to push pre-orders. That live, like, if pre-orders went live at E3, or if they went live at some place sometime else, they wouldn't have even bothered doing that. They wouldn't have even done it. They would have just completely skipped it, because that entire presentation was just a waste of time. It only served one purpose, and that purpose was to watch the show and get people kind of excited and hyped for the X.
And
I mean,
it
it's
works.
the next best
100%. It works.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
It's the next best alternative to, like, if you can't get your pre-orders ready at E3, it's like, well, when is the next best logical thing to do? And it's like, well, Gamescom. It's like, okay, we'll do it at Gamescom, because it doesn't make really a lot of sense to do it at any other point in time, right? So they was like, the idea was, we're going to do it for pre-orders and come up with an hour and a half worth of stuff. And you could tell they had nothing, like, to come up with, because we're getting Jurassic Park and we're getting, you know.
So
am I the only person that's hyped for that game? Like, I'm really hyped for that game.
You and Lord Zero.
I definitely want to play that, but someone says, do you think well, they didn't say, but I'm asking, do you think Death Stranding is coming out by 2019?
No.
I don't know. I mean,
2020, I think.
Yeah,
I think that's going to be a launch title for the PS5, you guys. I'm sorry. Like, I think
we'll see. Just to piggyback off of, I want to jump in just to piggyback off what Lord Rand's saying. I mean, I'm in totally agreement with him as far as the Xbox One X Enhanced game. I think, honestly, this is the route Microsoft has to take because of the exclusive situation. And I think, ideally, I remember when they made the announcement that the Scorpio would be revealed through Digital Foundry. I thought that was a boss move. And I thought that because they understand that Digital Foundry is in the tongues of the gamers right now, right? We line up to see when there's that comparison video, right? And Microsoft has been on the tail end of that early in the generation. You know, when the Xbox One ports and the PS4, the 1080p, 720, 900p fiascos, right? So I thought that was smart. I also felt like, okay, they're confident in this system. They're getting Richard Ledbetter and these guys to get on it, hands-on, touch this thing, and really go at it. So that was the first thing. You know, as far as the second part, as far as what I think is really cool, is that with these enhancements, I also want to see, outside of that list that's being shown, that looks great, the tournament, all that stuff, I want to see about this quote-unquote natural boost mode for titles that are not on the list, because they should still receive some type of an upgrade. Like a guy like me, I talked about this, we talked about this yesterday on our RGM and Bella's podcast, you know, about like a game like a Tekken 7 that's not on the list, or stuff that have like bad load times, or, you know, that even, think about this, y'all. Think about Rise, Son of Rome. Right? Just to see how that's gonna look, you know, with an upscale or whatever. So I think this is the approach they have to take by default because of the exclusive situation. As far as the Gamescom, y'all, I said it, like I told Lord Attic before that show started. I'm like, don't get your hopes up. I was like, I'm not expecting anything. Now, as far as what they showed, I agree with Lord Rand. This is all about the pre-orders, right? This is all about getting the system out there. I thought the Scorpio edition was really cool. You know, for me personally, I was a little, you know, surprised they actually had other games and stuff to show. But, you know, my main thing with it that really just bothered me, though, the only thing that really bothered me
The
is
repeat on trailers.
Yeah, you cannot reuse video assets from E3. That is a no-no. Like, as far as I've said it before, it's like they packed up E3 and was like, where do you want us to put it? Just hold it, put it on the You just throw it over there. Like,
just put it on the plane. We'll use it in a couple months.
I appreciate the developer. Go ahead, Lord Rand. I know you're jumping.
Lord Canino, you know what was also interesting is after the Comic-Con showing for Crackdown and all that stuff, and even E3, Phil was pretty adamant saying we'd see the multiplayer destruction of Crackdown at Gamescom. Crackdown wasn't there. Like,
I think somebody told him, "Don't worry, we'll have it."
And with the Crackdown thing, we went into this last week. You know, it's funny, look, it's funny. You know, it's one of those things. Like, it's like, look, it's not ready. I'm not mad at it. You know, look,
does it make you wonder?
Go for it.
What happened between E3 where they gave us the date and the you know, that week where they delayed it? Like, what
Agents
changed?
of Mayhem.
You want me to tell you, Lord Rand?
Agents of Mayhem.
Come on, no.
Why don't sit there and put that on his head? That's not on his head.
I had to do it to him. It was a perfect setup.
Get that off his head. That is not his fault.
No, but in all fairness to Lord Rand just pointed out.
I think it was the
everyone in the community saw. The perception was you had non-gamers playing this game that did not represent it well. You know, we're not saying that Crackdown's not going to be fun. We're not saying any of that stuff. We're just saying
Agents of Mayhem.
I don't even think it was Agents of Mayhem. I think if Comic-Con wouldn't have happened, it would come out this year.
Did you play the Agents of Mayhem yet?
No, I didn't. But
all right, when you get a chance to, I would like for you to just, you know, rent it, go to Redbox, get it or whatever. You gonna say this
the
is
rumor
Crackdown.
is that they out Crackdown and Crackdown and
Crackdown. I don't think they delayed it because of Agents of Mayhem. I think I think the Comic-Con was the nail in the coffin that they had to move it.
Yep.
Yeah. That
I don't know, because Phil still said after that stream that they would have a better demo or of showing at Gamescom. So
someone probably stuck in that room after he said that was like, why did you say that?
That's infinitely more interesting than anything they showed at Gamescom. Was what happened between June 11th when they said Crackdown's coming November 7th and last week or whatever when they delayed Crackdown 3. What changed in 2 months' time for them to be like, it needs to be delayed? You know,
there is that rumor that was going around that maybe, you know, if that rumor was correct that the multiplayer was going to be delayed, maybe they got to the point where they were taking such a hit from Crackdown they realized it wasn't worth delaying the multiplayer and taking more of a hit on that game.
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought, was that, you know, like, I think maybe even Agents may have had something to do with it, but hear me out on this. Like,
go for it.
So, like, I had heard that multiplayer wasn't going to make it for the holiday, right? And they were going to delay it. Single player and co-op 2017 launch with the system, multiplayer in 2018. And then that's something I had heard. And then Agents of Mayhem comes out and gets trashed, and it gets trashed because it doesn't have any multiplayer. Yep. So there's people at Microsoft maybe looking at it and be like, Yo,
Oh,
yo,
yeah.
we're gonna be launching Crackdown without multiplayer. Agents of Mayhem just got trashed. Maybe we should wait until and launch it next year. Give it a visual upgrade boost and launch it as a full product.
And you know,
these are valid theory.
And you know, let's be honest here. You know, regardless what kind of state it being Crackdown being delayed, put the 2017 lineup to save the Crackdown franchise that had to be delayed.
It had to be. It had to be. But I agree. I think Lord Rand is onto something because, besides, like I said, the multiplayer is such a complex component. And then the thing I cared about that I don't see a lot of people talking about, I was more excited about 4-player co-op missions, and I didn't see any of that. So that was another thing where I was just like, is that? It was just too much not being shown. Lord King, Lord Saab, let me get you to jump in and before we move to the next one.
Yeah, I mean,
my thing on the Gamescom thing, just real quick on it, and I'm not gonna bash it because I went in on Twitter. I went in on Twitter because I was thoroughly disgusted at what was being presented. Shout out to AC Bongos for doing a bang out job. It was fantastic that you held it together for as hard as you held it together. I felt for you. Going up there, like I felt for every developer that had to sit up there and go through that. I felt for you. But again, like they said, it's an event. I didn't like the little sidebars, the little comical crap. I hated it. It churned my stomach. It churned my stomach to the point when.
I think one of the funniest things is people were making fun of the Skittle Bowl controllers.
Come on, man! When my daughter sits there and says, does she know about games?
There you go.
I said, wow. Because the developer from Cuphead was there, and she really wanted to get technical about the game, but she didn't have the outlet to do so, and the questions weren't skewed in a way that she was able to get that across.
Right.
So I thought that was honestly the worst interview for Cuphead that I've ever seen.
But the aesthetics of Cuphead developer was fine.
Yeah, but no. I wasn't saying that she was the problem. Actually, she had the technical know-how and expertise to talk about the game. The interviewer wasn't. Ridiculous. Yeah, it wasn't
People
able.
People were saying it in chat that the Cuphead dev was the real MVP. I just thought that.
It's true. They'd never put her to the forefront before. They do it now, and I'm like, you don't need to sell the game now. Everybody's in on Cuphead. It's in on Cuphead. Like, why would you? It was sort of like a blatant attempt to do that, and then at the same time, she knew what she was talking about.
Real quick, that before I give it back to you, Lord King, since we're on the subject of Cuphead, Lord Agami, we talked about this. What's up with no online to co-op though?
They wanted that couch potato type of feel.
That's a mistake.
Yeah, and I believe that's a huge mistake. I believe that's.
I know those guys. They went damn near broke. I don't want to minimize what they did to get that game out there, and they did make an announcement that I guess it would come later.
Yeah, I hope that feature does launch later, as like a patch when the funding is there. Maybe the funding isn't there. You understand?
You were saying something in reference to Cuphead? I cut you. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just saying, like, they did mention that they would look into the feasibility of adding online co-op after the game launched to see if it's possible.
Yeah,
it's like I said, it's not like that's going to hurt the sales drastically, but having that as online co-op and couch co-op, hotline co-op and couch co-op's the difference between selling a couple thousand and a couple million.
If we cry loud enough, I believe it'll come. And get on Twitter, you be like, "Yo, it's a fabulous game." If only.
Just start hashtagging everything. If only.
Yeah, if only. if only they had online co-op, but. Like I said, I have to go to Gamescom next year, and we're gonna go. Iron Lords will be at Gamescom next year, to get the experience, to feel that, But did it come across well? No, but they did exactly what I thought they was gonna do. Just like I said, they was gonna give you dates, price, everything, all that stuff. You had the price, you had the dates, you're ready to go. Get your pre-orders, get everything. That's it. And then it was going to give you the list of the games and enhancements.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, that's what we got on this topic. Let's keep this thing moving. So actually, I'm up. So I wanted to bring this to the Lords in the round table. Something near and dear to my heart. Shenmue 3 Andromeda. Yeah, so as Lord Stav knows, and we talked about this briefly on RGM last night. Shout out to RGM Podcast. It's a great podcast. You guys should check it out. Yeah, I mean, Lord Rand, I'm a Sega kid. You know, I grew up with the Master System, did a Genesis, and that last hurrah for me, Lord Rand, was that Dreamcast. I loved me that Dreamcast, and I'll never forget Lord King and I Dreamcast. When he showed me, he came over, and I believe you had the Japanese version at the time.
Yeah.
And you brought that Shenmue to my house. And that thing, you got to keep in mind, people, for all this is OG talk now. For what Shenmue represented, think of a game in this term with Tekken 7's character models for its time, because Virtua Fighter and AM2 was like the game design, fighting polygons and fighting game polygons and graphics, right? In a full open world where you had to go to get a job, you had to work.
Yo, we didn't speak Japanese, and
we didn't know what was going on, and we figured this game looked so beautiful. I'll never forget the opening cinematic with Lan Di, and he kills your father. And again, Laurent, we're a fan of that kung fu flick era.
Yep,
right?
5.
So not only was the martial arts represented right, the graphics were amazing, and it was really kind of like the first 3D open world for its time. Then you go to shops, you had arcade transition like of Hang On and Space Harrier in like a pseudo arcade in the game where you can play these emulated versions. It was just so many things going on with this game. It was very ambitious. And I'm like, wow, this game is a game changer. And Yu Suzuki, let me just put it for all the record, that's my heart. I'm a Sega kid. That's one of the guys that get me into gaming. You know, all those games, the Hang-Ons, Outruns, the Shinobis, all of that. Like, that's my history. So when Shenmue obviously was announced on the PlayStation Experience stage at E3, it was very emotional for me. I'm like, okay, they're bringing back something that's near and dear. They got the Kickstarter. I'm like, okay, all right, I see where they're going. Low in my feelings, it wasn't on Xbox, but okay. And this thing has gone dark for a couple of years. And we're like, I speak to my PlayStation brethren. Just shout out to, Lord J. Barry, a lot of my Sony guys. I hit them up, like, what's going on? Give me some updates. And lo and behold, the trailer releases last week. And needless to say, those facial animations were an understatement. They were no bueno. Ryo very stiff in the mouth.
Where did the millions go?
Exactly. And what's funny is I remember the Kickstarter goals, like each million had a goal. We're going to add this, at this. So I'm checking. I'm like, did we not reach the facial animation goal? Did we not hit the magic number, y'all? Like, what's going on out here? So, again, for clarity, I obviously the internet went haywire with it. Shout out to Lord Anchorman. He had one of the funniest tweets going with like Ryo with the same face, and it's like happy, sad, angry. Shout out to Lord Anchorman. He know he came for me. He roasted my heart on that one. That was funny. I had to take the L. But the only thing I want to bring to the Lords is that recently an article did come out with Lord Suzuki, my hero, and he was with a Japanese magazine, I believe it was a website, Game Watch and Press, and he basically stating that because the magazine kind of got him like, hey, what's going on with those facial expressions? What's going on with that? Will they change? And then Suzuki pretty much said yes, that the trailer that they didn't put in the facial expressions, and they said until a month ago.
Why'd you make the trailer then?
Exactly. Don't even let I'm going there too, Lord. Exactly. So he says until a month ago we had put in the facial animation, but for the moment they've been removed for the trailer, which I thought was strange. Very strange. But I just want to bring this to the Lords. I don't know how much Shenmue affects you guys. I want to start off with Lord Rand because I know he talks Sega. What was your feeling about it? Also, if you have any Shenmue connection at all, and if not, just what's your overall thoughts of this whole thing? And we may have lost Lord Rand. He may have been so depressed. We'll get him back. Let's start off with Lord King.
Okay, well, being that I was the one that brought it to you, I presented this beautiful game to you back then, and we were so engrossed with the visuals that we had to figure out how to get a job, what we had to do next, what triggered what. So it was trial and error, and Lord Cognito and I, we labored. It was a labor of love for that game. We labored. Like, I came over, we kept playing, we kept hammering at it until we started figuring out how to get the crane, how to get this job, how to fight this guy. And the QT, that was the QTEs, the first time for QTEs that we ever seen that. Now, fast forward to now. When I saw that trailer, I said, Jesus, this game looks the same way. They didn't upgrade anything. Maybe it's a particle effect someplace. Then I said, they're robbing us. Where's my money at? That's where's my cash going? What's going on here? Somebody's stealing. Somebody's in Cancun on my dollar, and I'm trying to figure out, because
that's what Lloyd Kamatsu said. He said that you used to think he was popping bottles off that.
they doing it premium style. Somebody's doing it premium style on my dollar, and I'm trying to figure out who did it. Is the facial animation guy still in Bahamas? Give me my face. You know, when the dude kicked him in the head and he spun around and he had the Master Maul face, and he had to look like, yeah. I said, give me my money back. I can't get my money back. Yo, I swear, they better not release that game with that dude with the Master Maul face. I want my money back. It's complete. It's the same exact game. All they did was up-res it. Give me my money back.
It literally looks like a Dreamcast game. I know. Lord Sav, you have a connection to this title.
Yes, I do. I mean, just like you guys, I am a Sega kid through and through. Master System, Genesis, and I think even more than you guys. Like, I stuck with the Saturn. I was all in on the Saturn. My 2D fighters, like, I was all in.
Oh no, remember, Ben, you was down the same way.
I was the one. That's when I started to betray. That's when I started to.
He left. Remember, we were still doing Marvel versus Capcom. Nah, I'm gonna get you where you at. Nah, you stepped off the platform. You dipped off. You went left. You was heavy on the Shinden and the PlayStation. I was playing that. Yeah, we stayed on. We was on Elizabeth Street getting the 16 meg cards and all that other stuff.
The RAM cards and all that. Yeah. So we, and to be honest, man, that jump, when we got that Dreamcast, and even before the Shenmue, when we threw on Soul Calibur, and we were playing Soul Calibur, the Japanese version, months before the system launch here, we were just blown away by that system. Like, they did everything right with that system. The only thing is that they released it at a time where it was an awkward in-between sort of generation.
In-between generations, yeah.
And it was going to get steamrolled by what came after it. Yeah. But to be honest, that was one of the greatest systems ever. That Shenmue, like you guys said, it was a revelation. For a lot of people, gameplay-wise, it wasn't anything super special in terms of, actual actions that you did. A lot of people weren't happy with QTEs and whatnot. But the experience that it provided, the sort of real world kind of banality of day-to-day stuff, but it was cool because you never did that in the game. It was like, really, they're gonna let me do this? Like, it's
pet a cat.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's just, what game would allow you to do that? So it was a little disheartening to see this video again. We talked about it last night. Like, what if this is what it is, and they just want to harken back to the old games? They're like, hey, this is how it was. So this is what you want, right? Zero facial animation, zero emote, like just nothing. Mannequins.
Lord Lou goes in the chat. He said he didn't support the project because the graphics are like PlayStation 2 graphics.
Right.
So again, I don't know if we need to temper our expectations for what we expect from Shenmue. And I know they even said this at the onset, like, and I heard a lot of the gaming press talk about this when they first announced it. Temper your expectations for what this is going to be. This is not going to be, you know, the Shenmue 3, you know, / The Witcher 3. Like, you're not getting that level of detail. Don't think you're getting that. And for me, I think with Shenmue, even if you sort of condense the world a little bit and just make the things that you do in the world interesting, and allow you to go into like buildings and stuff like that, and kind of create an in-depth experience that way without necessarily having to make it a vast world, I think you have a winner there. As long as the story's tight and everything is tight and it finally closes out, you know, real story. That's what they need to focus on, to give a good experience within what they're able to do. Don't try to stretch too much.
Lord Sovereign, is it? Am I asking too much for better character models, though?
That's the question. No, and you can bring that up because the question is, it's almost like, I hate to say this, but it's like, obviously, you know where I got Suzuki-san. You know where I rank him. Is it like an old fighter with a
dinosaur?
And we've heard rumors during the Shenmue development, like he blew the budget. Like his Shenmue was so crazy and ambitious that he had the friction with Sega because they'd like, yo, dogs, your joint is too expensive. You know what I mean? And it was an internal, and that's why I guess it never got completed. So
I think he owed dough, and I think those people came back and collected. I think he owed the money. He put out the Kickstarter. He paid off those dudes that was on his neck, and that's how we got these faces. We got the Master Mold.
I'm done. Let's get the young wolf. I know he's not a Shenmue guy. He wasn't around for that era, but what did you think when you saw this Chain Lord Addict?
The animations are unacceptable, and that's the only comment I have.
Would this title interest you in any bit, or is this nothing you would never buy?
I'd rather play Quantum Break.
Wow!
Damn!
Bow, 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 bow.
Okay. No, this is good. This is good to know because this is the young wolf, so he represents a generation that didn't grow up around that time.
You're showing, you know, someone that you know wasn't old enough to comprehend the game to its fullest, and this is what you're showing the new installment. It's not making me want to even look at it. So
I feel you. No, this is big.
It's like feedback. You know, there's a franchise that I've always loved. It's called Way of the Samurai, and you know, I haven't seen that game in like a decade. So I'd love to see.
Lord Addict, what if they gave you Shenmue 1 and 2 a little up-res and give you the backstory? Would you care to get into the backstory and then play part 3? Or
not 3 looking like that.
Okay.
It's like, what's the point in play? Like the way you're describing it, 1 and 2 gonna look better than 3.
I feel you. I mean, listen. It is what. Listen, I'm such a fanboy for Shenmue that part of me is like, I'm still gonna get it. I'm still gonna mess with it. It's still supposed to look good, but I feel what y'all saying, and it's a shame, you know.
When I buy it, it has to come out in the summer of heat. You know, when they, you know, when they be like, summer of heat, games are slashing. So when they do the summer of heat prices at the $35.95, that's what I'm in. Other than that face didn't call me, man. They got the Maul face. They got the Master Maul face.
I'm done. I had to step out for a little bit, so he'll be back. But we are going to move on.
Oh yes, let's go.
So, Lord King, you've been getting some football on. Is it? Are we ready?
Yes, it's time for some football. Listen, man, Sundays is coming. We're gonna move our time to coincide with the Lord's Day, football day. But I gotta tell you guys, I played that Madden. Oh man, it is incredible. But let me preface this, guys. EA has been taking this big leap with the Frostbite engine.
With DICE's engine.
This is their joint, So we all were with the Unreal Engine. The Unreal Engine it did us well. Unreal Engine 2 It was so great. It did so many different things. It was fantastic. But EA said, it's time for us to take this, do this in-house. Let's keep this money in our pocket. Let's, stop paying these royalties to these people. Let's develop our own stuff. And it worked well for the FIFA, and then they said, let's put it for the Need for Speed. Ooh, Speed looked it. Ooh, photorealistic. This engine. Battlefield. All right. Now, when it got to Battlefield, you said Battlefield is beautiful, but it had a little things going on. You saw a little something. You was like, what's that? You saw, what's that over there? That don't look straight. That looks strange. All right. Then you got to Mass Effect's Andromeda. That's right. Powered by the Frostbite engine. What's up with their faces? Why are you walking like that? Something look wrong. Oh, man. This Frostbite engine. This Frostbite engine ain't show no love to Mass Effects. Okay, so I'm playing Madden. My children sitting there and heavily invested in that story mode. The long shot. Yo, I'm not gonna front. I'm like, please, he gotta make the team. I'm not gonna front. Like, I wanted to help my man out. And I made a choice, and they was like, ooh, bad. I'm like, nah, but that's my dude. I'm not gonna leave my dude like that. So a lot of decisions, I liked it. But then here comes the animations. This Frostbite engine, this is the growing pains, guys. You're going to start seeing a lot of clipping. You're going to start seeing animations. Man, my daughter looked over at me and said, Daddy, why is his hands going through his body like that? And, when you look over at your kid and you like, oh, baby, this is the demo. And in your heart, this is the complete package. This is what I'm getting. I
promise this is gonna change.
I wasn't
gonna lie to her like that. I just gave her the little white lie. I wasn't gonna give it a whole. I promise it's gonna change.
Apparently, Calvin's over there working for EA for all animation.
What? Calvin got control of the Frostbite engine, and let me tell you, this is where it got worse. So I finished that part, the long shot. They only give you a little bit, like get your feet wet. I'm like, man, I gotta play this. I gotta play this part. I said, let me play the game. Let me play, my Jets versus so and so. Well, I wasn't allowed to do that, but I was allowed to play whoever they picked. I picked my team. I'm like, I wanted to play with my Jets. Got my Jets in there. I said, I saw our quarterback. I'm like, ugh. But then, Madden is known for the presentation. Presentation took a hit, bro. It took a big hit.
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
The Frostbite.
What you not feeling? What
I'm not feeling is the animations. The animations. It reminds me of when we was playing 2K football. Remember the first time we got it, and their arms looked too long, or something didn't look right. Something was right, yeah. And then they were doing weird things. It's like the in between animations, like they don't know what to do. They got like restless arms or something, and like in between the plays, I'm like, what's going on? Like when the play is dead and they getting up off the floor, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, Matt has always kind of had that, where it's kind of like these awkward...
Not like this.
So it's even more emphasized now, too?
Yes, because it's the growing pains of switching this engine. I'm sorry, some of the animations didn't make it. They didn't make it into this copy. Okay.
That said, did you play Cleveland Browns so you have a better chance to win? Yeah. I'm done.
You had the early access copy.
Listen, I don't care who you play. The animation's the same. I don't care if you play Cleveland. I don't care if you play Patriots. Let me tell you, it wasn't about losing. I said, I don't really care about this part of the game, which is the whole game. I care about the long shot now. That's what I care about. Because the long shot, it seems that this Frostbite engine does everything else really well. But when it comes to animations of non-inanimate objects like cars and stuff like that, that's where the problems start to kick in. My thing is, have you guys experienced this Madden? Do you see this Frostbite engine as a detriment to Madden? Should they go back to the Unreal?
I'll jump in. Shout out to Randy's back. But yeah, I just, I'm a Madden head. Obviously, it's one of those things in Madden I get it kind of like every other year.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the long shot edition was really cool. I played up until the point where they starting to do the show or whatever. I like the emotional choices. It definitely felt like almost felt like a Telltale game, right? You're doing a little thing. You got the little QTEs in certain parts. You got the emotional decisions with your men and stuff like that. So that's cool. As far as the game, I probably played like 2 games. I get maybe I'm so conditioned to Madden stuff. What I call them like Maddenisms. I guess I'm the wrong person to ask because I've always seen that kind of stuff.
buys him every year, plays 3 games, and never touches it again.
But not this year because shout out my TIC family. We're doing a big, a franchise. Everybody's in it. Fame's talking that talk, so we got to get at him. Everybody's in it. So
what's funny is Lord Kanye will be doing that a lot. I remember like Channel 5, for some reason you guys be hyping games I never see you play week after it comes out.
Yeah, I learned with him.
Like
with
Mortal Kombat, I will never forget the amount of hype that this game got. And then I like, it wasn't even a week, fam. It was like 3 days.
Yeah.
The problem with that, that's a whole nother story. There's times when games come out and then you got second game.
The Siege. That's all I got to play.
I play the Siege. I still play the Siege. Shout out to Anchorman. They got their crew that play. But Siege is a game. You just gotta play with people. You can't.
Hey, hold on. I challenge the multiverse. Iron Lords podcast versus the multiverse. Rainbow Six Siege. Come at me.
Oh, let's do it.
Oh, live stream that.
Let's do it. But yeah, back to your point. I mean, it looks like Madden to me. Just some better facial animations here and there. I didn't necessarily notice the detraction of the frostbite, but that's just me. I guess I'm the wrong person to ask.
You know what I would tell you to do? I would tell you to go play last year's version and then go right back and play that one.
Yeah,
it looks shinier.
Real quick, not to jump off topic because I know Lorraine is back. Rand, you in the building?
Yes, sir. I am back.
All right. Now, shout out to Lord the premium Brits in the chat.
Yes.
He's in the multiverses rapping. The premium Brits in the chat. We're gonna bring it back to Rand. I know you missed a little bit of last topic, and I know you're a Sega kid, so we're gonna bring it back. Shenmue 3 / Andromeda. I went into a diatribe about me and my feelings about the game, how much it meant to me, and then I went into obviously the facial animations bit. Were you a Shenmue guy? If so, explain. If not, and then also about the current product that you've seen. Your opinions, Lord
So this is where we're gonna differ here because I've never played one of those games.
Gasp!
Never played a single one, and I think
wait till it's my turn to say to comment on this, man.
And I think the new one looks like straight trash.
Like trash.
Those facial. I mean, if
I really think the original
Andromeda that much crap for their facial animations, and oh boy, I hope they're ready to dish it out for Shenmue 3.
I really think the original Fable looks better than this game.
And
Shenmue
now, wasn't
3
this a game that Sony trotted out? And like, did Sony not put any money? Like, was this like? This just? I'm confused about the story and the financial backing of this game.
Sony did nothing.
They literally did nothing. They're not funding it. They're literally just presenting it, and it's
a Kickstarter game. Somebody's running around with this money, Rand. Lord Rand, somebody has got our money, and it's the facial animation guy, and he's in the Bahamas right now drinking Mai Tai.
No doubt. So yeah, I mean, it was just a sad thing. And the discussion ran was just that if Lord Suzuki-san, if he's just lost his touch, or it was just one of those
very
situations.
well could be. I mean, he's probably in over his head. Look, it's like the same thing with Valve, right? They're never going to make Half-Life 3 because what you think Half-Life 3 should be is never gonna they're never gonna live up to the expectations you have of the game in your head. Right?
Oh, you mean like Final Fantasy VII's about to do?
Yeah. So like same thing with Shenmue 3. Like I know people are super excited to get it back, but the expectations of that game, what you've dreamt about for all these years, that game that they're gonna put out never had a chance of living up to those expectations.
So these are fair assessments. These are fair
Now,
assessments.
even worse, because you're going to look at it and be like, okay, look, I'm back on the Dreamcast, I guess.
Now, to Suzuki's defense, I don't know if you caught this article, Rand, that I brought up. He went to a Japanese website, Game Watch Impress, and they kind of got him like, they said that the character animations are still the facial. They said, will this be fixed? Is this part of the game? And he basically came out. He said that they have not put in the facial animations until a month ago. They had them, but for the moment they've been removed. So, like, I agree with Lord Attic. But why would you show that trailer?
Yeah, why would you?
It's pretty much like he's trying to like blame it on another department. Man, I don't know why our PR team approved this. Like, I gave them the game, and then they looked at it and was like, "We good." And so I let it go out. So,
Lord Red, it got to the point that I don't know if you ever went to the Kickstarter page. They have like each monetary goal. I was checking to see if facial animations were at like the 3 million mark or the 6 million mark to see if it was not reached. That's what I thought maybe. I was like, oh man, but unfortunately, yeah, this is what he's running with. So, your thoughts on that before that edition would happen?
I don't want to like crush anybody's dreams here, so I'm just gonna say I have no interest in the game whatsoever.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Back to Lord King. Let's finish up this Madden and the
No,
challenge between the multiverse. Okay, multiverse.
I left that out there. Listen, Sir
James.
James.
Siege. Okay.
Sir James, I will gun for you like no other. I will give you the premium bullets in Rainbow Six Siege. Understand this is true. That's it. I ain't got nothing else to say on that Madden unless Lord Rand wants to talk about the animations and then the bad transition from the Frostbite engine. I think the Frostbite engine is hitting its upper limits as far as Mass Effect Andromeda and this Madden. Do I think the teams need another year? I don't think Mass Effect gets that other year, but Madden's coming out next year. Will they iron out these things? I hope so, but I think it's a rough draft this year.
I hear Long Shot's a good mode though.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. It was fantastic. Yeah.
Long Shot's good. All right, so we're good on that. Let's round this thing up.
Why don't you didn't ask me?
Oh, I'm sorry, Lord. I apologize, Lord Attic. I forgot about your sports prowess here. My bad.
I mean, I know I'm just gonna say pass, but I had to at least say it.
Pass is me because I think I have as much sports prowess as you do.
Lord Attic, I apologize.
Let me tell you guys a little bit something. Hold on. Let me go on a little rant here. Okay, for those of you who don't know Iron Lords podcast, every individual member and our guest chooses a topic. We have our own little chat that the topic is talked about throughout the week. So, first thing I see is the Madden thing. I was like, well, I ain't going to talk about that. So then the next day I see the Shenmue thing. I was like, well, this podcast is going to suck for me.
Lord Danilo Primero in the chat. What's up, baby? Appreciate you, man. Hit that like button and all that. Appreciate you guys. Good, Lord Attic. I'm sorry.
But I mean, when it comes to it, we definitely we do this show to give you guys an entertaining show. They get on to me for saying pass, but like I think it's a comedic thing. Like that your boy your boy Attic just go pass on topics he thinks is trash, and I think Madden's trash. So
wow. And there you have it. Lord Sava, is there anything you'd like to add to this Madden thing before we move on to the last topic?
Well, I think for me, I haven't played a football game extensively since like Joe Montana Sports Talk Football on the Genesis.
Oh, but I think I just triggered Cal. He said, "Yeah,
Lord Cal's in the building."
So that's the extent of my football playing. But I will say this: I think Long Shot is a mode that needs to survive and go on to other games. I'm a baseball gamer, and as much as I love the show, I haven't played the show in like 3 years because it just seems samey to me. And even Road to the Show, they've made improvements to that to sort of, make you feel like you're bringing up your
Cal, so one second, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Check your Twitter, Cal.
No doubt. No doubt. All right, fair enough. So let's get into this final topic. And obviously Gamescom happened this week, and Bungie had a tremendous presence there, and we had a lot of Destiny 2 info blast. We had trailers. We had the Dead Zone.
Ikara.
Oh Lord, you're gonna start trouble already. You're coming for me already. Yeah, we're gonna get into that. We had the trailers for the Vanguard, you know. And yeah, man. So we got a lot of huge information. Obviously, we know Iron Lords podcast. Initially, we're a Destiny podcast. So we got to talk a little Destiny here. It's been a little bit. Last week we didn't get a chance with hip hop, but did the Lords first catch any of this stuff? Let's start off with Lord Rand, our resident Destiny expert / guru.
I don't know about that, but there is a question I wanted to ask all the Lords here. Lord Addict, Lord King, Lord Sovereign, Lord Cognito. I wanted to get your input on this because I don't know what to think. Now, you guys are Destiny lovers, correct?
That is
or was.
Actually, I'm very critical of Destiny. I get jumped on all the time over.
Well, you know, I'm critical of Xbox, but, you know, I love Xbox. You know, you can be critical of it, right? So the thing that stuck out to me was those Destiny 2 trophy list.
We're gonna talk about that.
I don't know about that. Like 13 trophies, no flawless raider trophy, no trophy for beating the raid on hard.
Well, here's
going after the casual crowd on this one, or what?
You know, even if they do that, you know, Lord Cognito has went completely south with this whole achievement thing in the past month. But prior to this month, I think everyone at Iron Lords would not care 2 bits about the achievements. Like, they're cool and all, but like, I do have concern that, you know, I'm hoping they go on a casual thing on achievements and not gameplay. I hope they don't make everything casualized to a point in the gameplay. Like, look, when it comes to it's like the hardest game mode, they need that prestige mode. I'm hoping that is the hardcore mode, and you know, hard is like, you know, the core mode.
Which is shout out to Lord Cactus, the King of the Destiny, King of the North, came on the show. He is inferring that is exactly what they're doing. That prestige mode is going to be. They're going to have like prestige nightfalls. How crazy is that? Like the nightfall already in itself is insane. But go ahead, Lord, then I'll jump in.
So you know, I want this stuff to be right, and you know, there's a lot of speculation going on right now about what exactly it means. You know, the raid is called Belly of the Beast, so we don't know. You know, the raid's called Leviathan. So, you know, when you think of Leviathan, you think of sea serpent, and you know, I hopefully like you know, shout out to HD. When he was on the show, he brought up that don't be surprised if the raid is not Cabal. So, you know, going off that feedback, you know, I'm trying to keep my mindset like not can be completely right towards the Cabal. So I'm trying to keep like, you know, an open perspective of where this raid can go. So I'm really hoping that, you know, maybe they bring in some lore, because, you know, a lot of people don't know this because Bungie's extremely bad at explaining anything when it comes to Destiny. You know, they rather give that, go on our website and look at them, and, you know, not put
read
it in the game.
grimoires.
Yeah, no story in the game.
So, you know, when it comes to that, I want them
Shout out to Lord Cal.
Yeah, Lord Cal's in the building. But, you know, I want them to be more upfront about what's going on. I want them to, and it's looking like they did, you know, take our input on a lot of aspects. You know, a lot of people see this is Destiny 1.5, but people who put a lot of time into Destiny 1 realizes that they took a lot of player feedback and changed a lot. Look, for people who wouldn't know this, the entire multiplayer is nothing like the original.
Yeah, this is not. It's overhauled.
Destiny 2 was literally, it was like it was made by the players.
Yeah, well, it helps me out. I mean, I'm very grateful because now I can get that participation trophy that I've been looking for.
Shout out to Lord Calvin. Yeah, I mean, to Lord Rand's question.
Someone in chat called me a hater of Destiny.
Yes. The hater of Destiny, I know they're going in on it.
You know what's funny? Bungie is like my all-time favorite developer. They created my favorite franchise. There was no game I was more excited for than the original Destiny ever. Like, I wanted that game to be so good, and the gameplay was top-notch.
People are going to hate me when I say this, but I think 343 makes better Halos.
Nah, I disagree.
I'm not gonna listen.
I
I'm
think
not.
Halo 5's multiplayer was too on point. I'm sorry.
I mean, Halo 5's multiplayer is
I'm not like
It's better than-
I get that the story is a huge impact, but when I play Halo, it's to have a dapple story and to be all on the multiplayer.
No, I mean Halo 5's multiplayer is better than all of Bungie's multiplayers except for 2. But they just got to work that story kinks out. I love Bungie, and Destiny, like the gameplay is top notch, like top in the class. The shooting, the jumping, the abilities, like that 30 seconds.
Talk. Anchorman's hating on you right now. Say it again, Laura. Say about that gunplay. Say it one more time with your chest.
I'm saying,
Anchorman's in the chat hating.
I mean, hey, but Anchorman loves Fallout 4 gunplay. I mean, come on. There's no
Hold on. You talking about the game that actually took stuff from Destiny?
Listen, you stop. That's not even a conversation.
I'm like, look, all Anchorman's doing now is he's salty that the Iron Lords is about to stomp him in Siege. So
if you take like gameplay mechanics, first-person shooters, Destiny is right there with Call of Duty, if not better. Like strictly gameplay mechanics. However, with that said, the core around Destiny, like the idea of doing the same strikes a million times to grind out stuff, I just can't get behind.
Now, are you picking up Destiny 2 on launch, or are you staying away waiting?
Well, my buddy's going to be getting it. I wouldn't spend my own money on it.
But your game share, right?
Of course.
We will indoctrinate.
Of course, I won't be mooching off of that. My mooch.
The person I game
we will
share
begin
with,
our indoctrination
the
process.
person I game share with, it's 95% of his library is my library. So he can spring for a couple games here, and Destiny 2 is one of the games. So I will probably.
We got a little
no. He just
let's get a little Cal in here real quick, man. Okay, how are you doing?
Rand just said he's not the moocher. The person that's sharing is the moocher.
Well, he mooching off of this one.
Hey, you can't take one game and count like 500 from that one game.
After all I talked about Destiny 1, like I couldn't rightfully give Bungie my money this time.
I feel you. It's just out of principle.
That's right. Principalities involved in it, Smokey.
Well, Cal, are you there, sir?
Yes, I am. What's going on, guys?
All right, here we go. We got TIC royalty in the building. The King's in the building. Champs here.
What's your feelings? Man. Just wanted to chat a little bit or whatever, see how everything was going with the show. Show is great, awesome. I want to thank everybody for the support and supporting the Iron Lord podcast. That's killing it. By the way, thanks Rand for stopping on the show as well. As always, love you having you here. First for Destiny, I just want to get my opinion out for Destiny. I agree with Rand. I think Destiny's gunplay is superb. You can tell it's made by 843 because Halo's gunplay is superb as well.
And you could tell it was very inspired by Halo.
Cal's a smart man.
Anchor has nothing to say because he hasn't been playing Fallout since he took that L at E3 because I won that bet. So he's salty because of Fallout. He has a play Fallout and get his fix. But with that being said,
hold up, Cal, you heard what he said, didn't you? He's praying that the Evil Within 2 doesn't get delayed because that means he can't play Wolfenstein.
Well, let's hope that it does happen because there would be hopefully that falls in my favor. I really hope that happens because he's getting off easy with this. I almost played Alien. That was my life, bro. That was my life on the line just now. I don't play horror games, so that was a big deal for me. But like Rand said with Destiny, I love Destiny. I think the thing that irritated me the most with it was the grimoires. I felt like it was almost like Destiny had became Elder Scrolls. It's like, damn, I got to read all these books just to find out what's going on with the story. Then not only did I had to find out what was going on with the story, I had to go offline to another place to find out what was going on with the story, not even actually what was happening in the game. So that was my one gripe with it.
They wanted you to multitask, though. They wanted you to read and play.
But they left that in the game.
Not to mention the lore itself, like the website was complicated. It wasn't easy either.
I agree.
Yeah.
Good look at it.
But before I head out, because I don't want to interrupt the show, Guys, keep an eye out. We got a Patreon coming very soon for all the people out there who want to support us. What we're trying to do is bring you guys quality content that exceeds the value. I'm seeing everybody out there trying to hit you with stuff like, join up and we'll play games with you. Join up and we'll give you a shout out and things like that. And though we have those things at the lowest tiers, we're definitely bringing some things that you guys will truly enjoy, like calling Kid Smooth and cursing him out. You have a you don't like. That is actually a tier in one of our Patreon tiers. You can call Kid Smooth if you don't agree with any show that he does at a particular time of day. It give him a piece of your mind personally, one-on-one. Listen, we bring noise with this Patreon. This Patreon about to be the hottest Patreon out of everybody's Patreon. Is
to harass a
and listen, we got him to agree to it. This is what makes it even doper.
Yeah,
we got him to agree to it.
Yeah, man, Kid, let's be real here. Kid is putting his sanity on the line for you guys. Okay?
Exactly. We call it the smooth operator line. That's gonna be the chair. The smooth operator line. You can call Kid Smooth.
Is there a tier to play against Anchor and Rainbow Six and crush them?
Yeah,
we have a tier. We got a tier where you can challenge any TIC member in any game. And for 3 hours, we have to stream it.
What about a tier where you can call up Anchor and tell them Bethesda games are bad?
Yeah, no, we don't have that.
There is a tier.
That's not a bad one.
There is a tier where you can get a shout out and have anyone of your choice to do the shout out, and maybe your name says Bethesda sucks. I mean, how do I know that?
Right. We have a tier, like we have a small tier, very small tier, under $5, where you can get your name shout out by anybody you want on any show, any way you want it to be shouted out. So we can be like, shout out to the king of so and so and so, yada yada yada. However you want it to be shout out, we got to do it. Look, we got some really cool stuff. We got private service coming where you can join up. We all gonna be on that player.
Listen here, you Patreons. Let me tell you something. Bro. Don't be putting me to do no crazy crap. Listen here. I'm gonna tell you right now. If you get the premium down, you gonna pay a lot for the premium dollar. Me telling anybody anything. I'm not gonna be in the low tier. Don't look in the low tier for me. If you gonna play me in a UFC game, you best believe your Patreon dollar is gonna be premium. Remember when I said that?
Hey, for everyone watching, make Lord King play the impossible game.
Oh my god.
We're gonna work with Iron Lords. We're gonna see if we can get the Iron Lord escort tier, where if you want to be escorted through each raid.
We got that.
We'll definitely get you guys hooked up with the raid and get the escort service with the Iron Lord podcast. So we're gonna work that out.
I know that King is in a premium package on the side. Don't be clicking on the Iron Lords thinking King comes free. King is a premium package to the left.
Crazy.
You must click on the King icon in the corner to add him to the checkout.
Yo, I'm gonna let you guys get back to your show. That's gonna launch September 1st. Keep an eye out for that. I'm gonna announce it on the channel, Twitter, Facebook, everywhere we at. So you guys want to sign up, whether it's $1 or $2, whatever, just go ahead and support. We greatly appreciate it. It's going to go a long way to continue to build us up.
Absolutely. You can
always make Kid Smooth play Bloodborne like everyone else has.
That's true.
Real quick, so we can wrap this thing up.
Show. I'm going to holler at y'all later.
No doubt.
All right.
Peace. Lord Cal, coming from the heavens. Take heaven.
Someone said King only does escorts in 4K.
4K, I'm done. Fastback's going on.
Real quick. That's right. You better have a 4K view. Holler at me.
Lewis, I need your opinion. Did you see any of the trailers of the Destiny 2 stuff this week?
I mean, for me, the most important stuff is the story stuff. Because like I said, like I'm going to be there day one with you guys. Like I'm taking off from work. I'll be there all day. But I know that moving forward when it comes to the multiplayer stuff, it's going to be hard for me to keep up with you guys. So the story stuff is most important to me. Like,
okay, so we can co-op the story with you. Now, will Lord Soft do his first raid with the Lords? Will he do his first raid to experience
if this Patreon thing goes the way it's supposed to go, he gonna be doing it regardless. So
Lord Anchorman said the Iron Lords, he said King sold separately.
That's right. King sold separately. I'm in a separate package, baby.
But facts though, I mean, Lord
he's in a lower tier package.
And also I want to ask it to Lord Rand. Like, have you I know Lord Soft's never won it. Lord Rand, have you ever done a raid though?
You know it, dude. You know it.
Okay, my bad. I didn't want to come for you.
No, I mean, I have close to 600 hours on Destiny 1.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Fast. So to your question,
out of curiosity, what raids did you do? I'm just curious.
I did the first one, which was probably the best one in my opinion.
Yes.
Both the glass. I didn't do Crota because I didn't come back to Destiny, and I did Crota later, but not when it was first new. I came back to Destiny when Taken King came out, and I actually really enjoyed the Taken King expansion. I thought it was well done, and I thought that raid was
Orcs was a phenomenal.
I don't know how many times I did the Orcs raid, but after that, I got what was the one after that, the expansion after that was
Rise of Iron.
Rise of Iron.
You didn't miss much.
No, I did the story and then never played it again. Like I don't know.
Irrelevant raid where the antagonist made no sense. Yeah, you didn't miss.
Yeah, but it was a fun raid.
It was a fun raid, but it was lame how they incorporated it into the actual story.
And I remember going for Flawless Raider and my hands are shit, especially like when it was hard. When it was actually hard, when you couldn't like just go back and do Crota super easily, right? When you had to do Vault of Glass, and that was legit hard.
Yeah, the jumps.
The jumping puzzles, all that stuff.
But when you're with the Iron Lords, we do that flawlessly all the time.
Yeah, we got you. But to Lord Rand's point, because I think we went left. We didn't. A lot of us didn't answer the question, which was I do feel a way that the achievements have been casualized. That flawless raid achievement meant a lot. I remember like you said, Lord Rand, trying to get that. Your hands are sweating. You're doing all that stuff. So. One could hope. I mean, I don't know. I mean, pretty much all of them has been released. I know the raid one kind of leaked and that kind of stuff. One would hope that they got the harder difficulties and stuff, that there's some type of reward. But it kind of does suck.
There's not even one for the hard raid. It's like you can just do like hard Nightfall.
Yeah, that's it. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. I'm very surprised by that, and it definitely seemed like a casualized achievement list. We know the DLC is coming, so in September with the Osiris stuff. I mean December with the Osiris stuff, which is what I'm looking forward to. So hopefully they may add some harder stuff there. But on that note, anybody got anything left on Destiny before we wrap this thing up?
Well, you was talking about the trailers. Did anybody see the trailers this week? And like Korra,
I'm sorry.
Korra's trailer. Let's just say how it's said, because I took a lot of dirt for this. I took a lot of people was going in on me, and Korra was the best trailer.
2 seconds, Lord King. I want to see #useless in the comment section.
Well, I mean, you can say #useless all you want. She saved everybody. They told you she's fearless.
Let me tell you why I don't feel her. First of all, she boring. Second of all, what made me mad about it? It was that why she still got to have Cade in her trailer to try to shine. Like, I want to know more about you. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. I'm just, right now, she's got to show me more. The best thing she's done.
She deadpan, man. She got that deadpan humor. She said she gonna impress him is the least impressive thing of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Nah.
She does nothing for me, but I mean, God bless you and Lord B Money that rep her hard.
That's right, man.
I love the Survivor trailer. The Cade trailer is funny. The best thing Steve's
everyone's got a following, just doesn't depend on how big or small.
Who took down the ship?
Oh, she took down the ship. And
that was in the trailer. They let you know that ain't nobody else taking down the ship.
Absolutely, the best thing.
She took a little carrier down. Stop getting ahead of yourself.
Taken King when you got the Stormcaller ability. In that sequence when she's talking to you about harnessing that electricity and that energy, that to me connected me with the character. I felt like, okay, This is what I'm talking about. Yo, Lord Attic, you stupid. Team useless in the chat. You're ridiculous.
For me,
I said,
going back to that story stuff, for me, the most interesting thing that I saw was that other character, the Hawthorne, like the sniper, because it just felt like to me, like it, you know, she's not really feeling the Guardians. She's like, you guys you're without the light now, and you guys are whining and crying, and we've been without the light forever. Like I'm not feeling you right now. So to me, again, that's cool story stuff.
I can't rock with her because she rock a poncho though.
Oh yeah, the poncho.
I can't listen to you.
First of all, which class do you run, Lord Rand? We got to get that out the way first. Let's see what type of man you are.
What class do I run? I mean, the one and only Titan, my man.
Yes!
I'm a Titan.
I knew there was more common than just people say me and Rand sound alike.
So you're Titan. So I'm assuming now, did you see the different Vanguard trailers for Zavala, Cade, and Icor? Did you get a chance to get?
No, I mean, I played the beta, which I enjoyed the story segments of that game. So that's it. I kind of went on a media blackout for it. After
gotcha. That. Okay, fair enough. So you didn't see the newest trailers where they try to give you like a little backstory of each Vanguard member?
I have not. No.
All right. When you get a chance, we'll do this later offline. Watch all three, and I need you to tweet me and Lord King and rank in your personal opinion which trailer.
He's already biased. He's the Titan. Sorry.
ILP bet bend the knee on who's Vanguard.
I'm not betting that right there. You can stop that right there.
It's just a fun.
I'm not bending no knee to that. That's somebody's opinion.
This is Lord Rand's opinion. That's all it is.
He's a Titan.
Lord Anchor says Titan Master Race.
I know he's a Titan.
Let's wrap this up. We're going over a little overboard, but shout out to everybody in chat, 46 strong, everybody hitting that like and everything. What I wanted to do is we're going to talk about first of all, the Patreon that we already know. Shout out to Lord, Lord Cal, bringing that up. There's a lot of stuff going on with that. You know what I mean? So make sure you guys support that and all that good stuff. So yeah, we're gonna do these outros right quick. And
can I ask one question? I want to get your reaction. What do you think about this rumor about Bethesda making a Game of Thrones RPG?
Oh. I would love that. I would love that.
Because it's up on Target's website. That's how people found it. Tonight's the finale for Game of Thrones. Is there a chance maybe they announced this Bethesda RPG set in the Game of Thrones universe?
You mean Skyrim Game of Thrones edition?
I mean, whatever.
I'll take it. yo, his going for my man is crazy.
Crazy, I know. Listen, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. This is a good one. I mean, if they're saying it's like a Target incorrect listing, there may be some truth to it. I'm surprised. See, when Lord Anchor doesn't know, I get concerned. Well, my man Paul Tazzi, he put the article up from Forbes, and I did see it, so he's running behind it. We'll see. I mean, I think if it is true, wow, what a game that could be.
I'll buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just hope I don't want it to be with any existing storylines or characters. Just kind of inhabit the world and give me something new within that universe.
Well, I would like to know what goes on with Jon Snow when he's dead in the light. I want to know what happens there.
The perfect game would be if it was set during Robert's Rebellion, right before. That would be. You'd have all the same characters, but in different spots, and it's a prequel to the the story. Oh, that'd be so cool.
Yeah, the potential could be phenomenal.
Well, they got a lot of storylines that they can rock with. So I mean, the many-faced God. Let's get some of that in there. I'm about all of that. Let's go.
Give me an assassin game. Give me that.
Yes, you get a chance to throw on many faces.
No doubt. Let's wrap this thing up. So, Lord Rand, first of all, shout out to Lord Rand for coming through, man. We really appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? And we had a great time. We love what you do. Where can the fine people find you in these days?
Yeah, I mean, if people want to check out the daily videos that I do drop, you can check that out on YouTube, which is youtube.com/Rand al Thor 19. All the relevant social media links will be right there. Twitter and all that fun stuff is basically on that site.
No doubt. Yeah.
But I had a great time with you guys. It was a lot of fun, man. Like, Iron Lords are legit.
We got the official red cosign. I'm feeling good.
Yeah, man.
No doubt. We got your link in the description. Please check out his channel. Check out his content. Great daily videos from a balanced perspective. There's no trader and no community here. He's a gamer, y'all. Get out y'all feelings. You know what I'm saying? So we got to put that out there. But shout out to Lord Rand and the man with the million for coming through and showing us love. Lord Attic, my co-host with the co-most. What's going on? I can actually talk about some TIC acquisitions of a certain podcast you're a part of.
Yeah, Planet Xbox is officially coming to TIC. I don't know. I don't know when the I don't know when the debut is gonna happen. I don't know any of that. I'm gonna leave that to I mean, they've already announced it on Twitter, so I feel like,
my
I feel like I could say that.
I'm disappointed. Like, yeah, Planet Xbox.
Yeah, you got defeated.
No, I'm just tired, man. I ain't slept in like 19 hours.
Red, this is the equivalent of Conor McGregor bending the knee.
Oh my God, yo.
This is awesome. This has made my day. This is a great day. This is a great day.
Shout out to Lord Smooth Kid Smooth and the crew. Shout out to Jazz, Psycho Gamer, Panda. Love what you guys are doing over there.
People are getting some weird thing over there with Panda. They're putting Panda emojis in the comments section.
Oh yeah, she's got a following. She's got a following. You make sure you rep that Panda. So wait, Nick, that's still popping off at Tuesdays at what time? So
Tuesdays at 7:30 to 8. Just whenever kid decides to go live. But definitely go over there and check that out. I'm gonna talk to Kid about having a special episode this Tuesday. I'm gonna see if he'll name it the Year of the L.
I get percentages off of that because I created that. I get a little off top.
It just depends on how that conversation goes. Because
that was my topic last.
He thinks we're too hard on Xbox, but we'll see how that goes. But definitely check that out. It's like I said, I'm gonna let Kid and Cal, officially announce when the debut is gonna happen because that's not really my place to say.
Facts.
But appreciate you guys for coming around. I want to thank Man with the Million one more time for coming through. It was definitely an honor to have you on. You've officially been knighted to Lord status.
No, if Kid gives you any trouble about the Year of the L, just say there's more words in the Year of the L than Microsoft was dropping exclusives this year.
Wow. Bang.
Because think about it, 4 words, 3 exclusives.
Ooh, bang.
You know what? That is so fantastic. You gotta laugh.
See,
it's so great.
If someone said Attic double ticked.
God.
If I say that, is no way in hell it's happening. But definitely tune in. I appreciate anyone that hasn't liked the podcast. Definitely like it. Shows appreciation. Shows definitely shows that you're supporting the podcast. I appreciate all the ones that came through. I think we had up to 69 people in the podcast. And definitely we out. So whoever's next.
Lord Sovereign, where can the people find you, sir?
Oh yeah, first and foremost, shout out to Lord Rand for coming through, man. We really appreciate it. And yeah, the people can find me where they always do or don't find me.
Offline profile Illuminati.
Yes, sir. BX Sovereign on Xbox Live, PSN BX Sovereign, one word, and Lord Sob ILP on Twitter.
No doubt. And the premium gamer himself, Lord King.
Man, shout out to the man with the million. You got to really put this in perspective. They held him back before he got a chance to achieve that. So that's even a greater accomplishment, to be honest with you. And when I saw it, when it went up, I was like, it was like a proud moment, for Xbox. Beautiful moment. Nice. I'm glad he's on the show. Fantastic.
Thank you.
When I heard about it this week, I was like, yeah. Be honest with you. You can find me on.
Don't lie. He was like, I need to have this dude. I need an autograph, man.
If he can autograph my copy of what was that? Halo Wars 2,
So you're like one of the 30 people that bought that game? Like,
yeah.
Bet you more people bought Halo. I bet you more people bought Halo Wars 2 than Quantum Break.
Keep it nice, Lords. Keep it
I know, right? Yeah,
I think that's subjectively wrong, but
you can catch me. You can catch Lord King at King David OTW.
Catch my Best Buy, Amazon, any of these.
You can catch Lord Attic at Redbox.
Damn straight, man. I'll be at Redbox all the time. No, actually, technically.
Yo, listen, no, but on a serious note, I need all you PlayStation dudes to add me Xbox 360 Lover 01. I really don't have any friends there, and I need all the friends I can get
why. I wonder why.
Because they think I'm trolling them, but I'm not trolling them. I'm dead serious.
Lord Cognito.
I can't change my name. So please, just add me.
Hey, Lord Megatron, you might want to go to the beginning of the podcast. Just say.
Yeah, now that I'm up for my outros. Lord Megatron, we have a problem.
Wait, time out. I gotta give a shout out because I said I was gonna give a shout out to Lord Paul for my Madden experience, my football experience. He facilitated my greatest experiences in football. So this football season is about to kick off. You know, I don't count preseason. And every football season that kicks off, I think of Lord Paul because he actually hooked me up with my greatest football experience.
It's so good. No doubt, Lord Cognito here in the outros. You know where to find me, but I just want to address. I got my man Lord Megatron in the chat. I was looking for him earlier. It's August Achievement Month, and let's just say I see what you're trying to do, bro. I got my eyes on you, Megatron. There's 4 days remaining. I need this. So me and you gonna talk. You're supposed to be a friend of the podcast.
He's telling you to put your controller down.
Lay down and stay down. I'll be forced to take action.
I want you to bend the knee.
That's right.
Exactly, man. You know what I'm trying to do. But,
Look, he knows exactly what's going on.
Oh, Lord Brap in the chat. Oh, man. Everybody's coming through last minute. Shout out to Lord Brap, man. I know you're on vacation. You still
That's
came
my
through.
dude. He saw that
guy.
premium experience. He saw that premium.
He said, shout out to the Iron Lords and Rand. He's on vacation, but he still came through to show love. Shout out to Brap. Make sure you support him and everything he does.
But man. I do want to bring up something for we end. I saw someone donated and said something about Path of Exile. Said people should try it. Appreciate the donations. Always definitely will help the Inner Circle Network. Shout out to that dude. I it was so far ago. I can't find out who it was. So whoever it was, I apologize. I didn't get to it sooner, but thanks for the donation.
No doubt. And like I said, with ILP here, like I said, spreading that gaming realness, not telling you what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. Again, shout out to Lord Rand for coming through, everybody. Great show. The chat was lit as always. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe. ILP on all the media outlets, Inner Circle, YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud. And remember, all you Xbox guys, is a SoundCloud app. You can download them in the background, y'all. There's no excuses. But on that note, we're going to end this thing, and we're out of here. Peace.